call that radio. You call that radio TV. No. You call that radio TV.
This is You Call That Radio.
This is You Call That Radio. We are back. Return of the Captain Hotknives. It's the one you've all been waiting for. Back by popular demand. The man, the myth, the legend, Captain Hotknives, hosting, playing some songs, getting the crack, and going to introduce you to some of his friends and special guests. It's a kind of open mic night vibe, so if you want to do a poem or a song, then leave me a comment and I'll try and get you on, but no promises, as time is not something that we deal with very well. On when we're together, I don't know who's a bad influence on who, me and him, or him and me. The last one was 5.5 hours. We have promised that this is not going to descend into that. Happy haircut, Mark. Yes, I do have a haircut. Well spotted. Well spotted. Lou has also spotted that. Nothing gets by yous. We've got Gary Penders in the house. How you doing, Gary? And I seen Gary at the weekend. I was filming a wee thing with Colonel Mustard at the Barrowlands. So, well, I wasn't actually in the Barrowlands. I was in the Barras Market. I did a wee song there. Oh, fab. Captain Hotknives says Cat. Evening, everyone, says Paul. Evening, Trip, says Petra. Good evening, folks, says Mark McInnes as well. So, yeah, I've went for a beach background today because I've got a haircut. I seen a family member I've not seen in a year today. That was amazing. I had a big cycle, and we've just been told that in May the 17th we're going to be able to do indoor gigs from May the 17th. I think it's up to 100 people with social distancing. So that means that we can maybe do a You Call That Radio show in a venue in Glasgow. Maybe we could just get some seats set up and have a podcast, live podcast, some acoustic music, some poetry, some comedy. I'm excited for that. I think we can now go live to Captain Hotknives.
Hey,
do you believe in spring? Do you think it's going to be a real thing?
You know what, right? I know that last month was a year of lockdown because we did a show right at the start of the first year, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like this month, it is starting to feel a bit more lively in it. And like the sun's out a bit and restrictions are going a bit less. And with a bit of luck, we can actually have the crack properly soon. So that's good for morale. Even if we can't have it straight away, knowing that that the shit
is coming back.
Yeah.
It seems to be the case, man. There's like gig offers are starting, and it's funny.
Yeah,
the other day, someone offered me a gig the other day in London, and I just said to her that I'm up for it, but I'm wanting to see until I've seen gigs with my own eyes.
Yeah,
before I want to book. But then today, hearing that announcement, I'm now starting to get the promoter head on and thinking, let's put on a fucking gig indoors with no windows, beer. Jam for CCTV says, big up the captain. Lou says, pasta, garlic bread, a glass of red, and the captain on my favourite show. What a time to be alive. See, there's just a lot of enthusiasm today.
That's cool.
Also, the Polish guy got found guilty for murder, which is good because he murdered someone. So it shows you how far behind that we're even surprised at that. But that was good news. Hashtag all charges matter. He got found guilty in all 3 charges. And we've got Lovely and Sunny and Born. Proper cheers people up. And we've got Charlie saying a nice way to start Wednesday evening. Yes.
You know what, Mark? One day we should get Charlie on because he does like quite beautiful instrumental guitar music in open tunings. Maybe get him on next month.
Yes.
The guy who just commented, if it's the guy I think it is, I've jammed out with him quite a few times at the back of stages at festies. Anyway, that's for next time.
That's good.
You've been to the barbers.
I've been at the barbers, mate.
You've been outside.
I've been outside.
And now you live in a tent on the beach.
And now I live in a tent on the beach. Once you go out, you can't go back, man.
I'm still stuck in the same gaff as I was last year. I'm like, where's my tent on the beach?
I'm sure there'll be a tent at the beach coming
Well,
soon to you.
on the beaches at the bottom.
Are you on the gin? You on the gin?
No, I can't stand gin. Gin is the foulest drink in the world. This is Palinka, which is just into gin bottles. You know, because people make moonshine, they haven't got a load of spare bottles. They just use old bottles, don't they?
Yeah.
So I got given all this moonshine, and this is the last bottle of it I've got until I see my mate. So I'll have to go steady on it. Well, I won't really.
For anyone who's joining us tonight, you might have seen the show we did last month, A Year of Lockdown, with Captain Hotknives. It lasted for about 5.5 hours, and I believe the after party was still going.
Oh no, the after party went on until about 10 o'clock the next morning or something like that.
Well, I went to my bed. I ran out of beer, so the credit started rolling for me. But it seems like you kept it going, which is great to see. We're not going to do that tonight, though. We're going to. I'm going to have a beer, but we're not going to do it for 5.5 hours. You're up early tomorrow. I'm up early tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
So we're just going to take it easy.
Big day tomorrow. Work in the morning. Responsible citizens.
We've got the polar bear in the house. Alan Gray, nice moonshine. Al Clark says howdy, hello,
hey,
Al.
He is fucking lovely, I love him.
Yes, get the clogs turning, lads. Yes, guys. Yes. Nice to see you, Chris. Nice to see your face, you big pie.
I'm looking forward to.
Polar bear's asking if you're tripping today.
Well,
no comment.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I have. What it was, I had a freak accident. I was just doing a really nice copy of a Caravaggio because I'm an art forger, and it was looking so good. It was like a proper Caravaggio, and I was just getting my felt tip out for the last corner of this forged Caravaggio. I had a buyer for it and everything, and then I tipped up this fucking jar of dried mushrooms on my elbow. It flipped up in the air, and I gasped in amazement, and a load of the mushies fell in my mouth, Mark. And I ended up swallowing them just before the gig, and I'm like, I'm supposed to be a professional musician. And it might seem that given the last 2 times I've been on your show that I was on mushies, it might seem that this is a bit of a pattern and that I'm not actually professional.
Well, I mean, I think Alan's seen a pattern. I've certainly not seen a pattern. I realise that it's been accidental.
It's purely accidental. I mean, it's the sort of accident that could have happened to anyone when they were forging a major Renaissance piece of art. Like my uncle.
Is the painting okay? Is the painting survived?
Well, sadly, after the mushies tipped down my throat, I spontaneously ejaculated onto the painting, and it's reduced its value considerably.
Yeah.
But it's been a bit of a nightmare, Mark. I'm going to paint over it tomorrow.
Do you have a song about mushrooms?
I do have a song about mushrooms.
I think we should start with a song about mushrooms.
It's one of the best songs I've got. In the fields of Scotland, after the rain has been raining, my feet were getting wet, my trainers were soaking, but I wasn't bothered. See me out in the fields, looking on the ground, with my little plastic bag. See what I found. Mushrooms. Little nipple-shaped mushrooms, yeah. Mushrooms. Scottish Liberty Guard mushrooms. What a great free thing to find. What an unusual thing to do to me mind. Say come back to me house. Spread the newspaper out. Spread them out to dry. Make myself a pot of tea, but I don't need the milk and sugar for this particular brew. All I need is boiling water Mushrooms, mushrooms, feel my legs are going along, feel my hands are going strange, everything is rearranged, everything is rearranged. Now I'm back out in the fields, laughing at the trees. Turn the volume down on that hedgehog. That hedgehog's about to feed back. Jesus Christ, where's the sound man? That hedgehog's plugged into a Marshall stack. What the fuck's going on? Have I pissed myself again? I can't tell. I tried to touch the front of my pants to see if I pissed myself, and I couldn't fucking tell. Were they wet? Were they wet? Were they dry? Were they wet? Were they cold? Were they yellow? Were they blue? Were they corduroy? I had no idea. Mushrooms had kicked in. I had started to begin to lose track of whether or not I'd pissed myself. And I thought, I need help. So in the distance, I saw a farmer. And I thought, farmers love mushroom pickers like me. Probably. And I shouted over to him. I says, hey, mate. I says, if you're not busy, could you just touch the front of my pants, please? And he told me to get off his land. And I was like, mate, come on, I'm not after your land. Just touch me pants. Let me know whether or not I pissed myself. Then I could get back on with tripping and enjoying it without wondering whether or not I've pissed myself. Just touch me pants. Just tell me it only take a second for you. You're not tripping, you privileged get. And he said again to get off his land. And by this point, I was like, mate, no one can own land. Land is very, very heavy. When you go away on the weekend, how do you know squirrels are not jizzing on your land? There's squirrel jizz all over your land every Friday, pal. You fucking knobhead, you bumper ass, you benchard marderchard, fuck's sake, you can't own land. I tried carrying a rucksack full of soil once. It was really heavy, I couldn't carry it. Just touch me pants, and he told me again to get off his land, and I was like, fuck's actual sake, you Tory landowning piece of cunt. Stop telling me to get off your land. And he told me again and said, all right, pal, getting on my tits now with this land ownership thing. He says, how come you do own this frigging land? And he said, my grandfather fought for this land. That gave me an idea. He says, bring your fucking granddad out here then. Wish I'd never said that. Fucking granddad was massive. He was carrying a fucking hurley stick. Started swatting me with it. He was swatting me in the knackers with an hurley stick. I had to think about Charlotte Church to take away the pain. It was a fucking nightmare. And the more he twatted to me, the more I laughed. Because I thought, I'm not even after his land. And the more he hit me, the more I laughed. The more I laughed, the more he hit me. And the more he hit me, the more I laughed. And then he hit me a bit more because it annoyed him that I wasn't finding it serious as I should have done. And he hit me with the hurley stick, this grandad, so many times that he died of a heart attack. So now I own his land. If I could remember where it was, we could go there now and create an anarcho-syndicalist commune free of kings and rulers, or even sex squares, or any maths equipment from the 80s. And in the end, even though the guy was dead, it turned out that I did piss myself. Fucking hell, again.
Strange mood of our time.
We are live. You call that radio TV. We are live tonight with Captain Hotknives and a host of special guests still to join us. Kind of like an open mic night. Also, shout outs, by the way, to I've just released an audio podcast today with Martin Youth Glover, who is he was a producer on Urban Hymns, The Verve, The Endless River by Pink Floyd. He's in a band with Paul McCartney, the fireman, Killing Joke bassist, The Orb founder, absolute legend. You can find that show and listen to it tomorrow or something, or if you just go to Apple or Spotify or any of the normal podcast places. This isn't really a podcast, it's merely a hang. And yeah, just type in You Call That Radio on Spotify or Apple and you can find that. It's a cracking interview. And he's live, and we're live now to the captain, who's still going by the name Capo Hotknives. We've got some comments coming in. One of my fave Captain Hotknives tunes, Mon the Mushies, I Don't Want This Land Anyway, says Rebecca Radical. Rebecca Radical is also going to be buzzing to make a racket for you. Rebecca Radical will be joining us later on. I believe she's on the Bucky, but she will be doing a wee song for us later on. And that's fine. You're allowed Buckfast in the show. Al Clark says, love you too. Big Al's laughing. Nice hair, guys. Yeah. Well, I mean, can you tell me, what was the secret of your hair, Captain Hotknives?
The secret is I haven't been to the barbers for a year. That's it.
Was it not something about coconuts? Was it not something about coconuts as well?
Oh, no, I had to put coconut oil on it because it was fucking dreading to fuck. And I didn't want dreads. And I remember my ex-missus used to use coconut oil to stop her hair dreading, and I thought, oh, I'll have to do it myself. So I did it, but it just made me look like Chip Panhead for a bit. But, you know, there was a kid...
You just got the dose wrong.
There was a kid
You've got to start with a half first.
Say that again, sorry.
You've got to start with a half first. You just went all in.
I foolishly filled the bath with coconut oil and just jumped in, and I lived in there for several months, and then I come out, I was quite greasy. So now I look like a right greasy... I look like Chip Panhead now. I've used too much. I knew that 200 jars of it was probably overkill.
Lou Rogerson said you should write a song about accidentally ejaculating in things.
Okay, I'll do it now. I went into Tesco's just the other day, and the next thing anyone had to say was, look over there at that fat twat. He's ejaculating on the fish counter. All the fresh trout with their eyes bugging out. All the passers-by filled with hatred and doubt. There was I, with my cock and balls out, wanking on the fish counter. Wanking on the fish counter. Wanking on the fish counter. Didn't mean to. It was the sight of those salmon chunks. It made me feel like I wanted to blow chunks. My cock instantly became erect. And that was about the time I began to detect there was jizz flying out of the tip, all over some frozen chips. Store security were running up fast. I said, listen lads, I'm just having a blast. Accidentally ejaculating in Tesco's again. Accidentally ejaculating in Tesco's again. Accidentally ejaculating in Tesco's again. Again. Fifth time that day. Fuck's sake. Oops.
Amazing stuff.
The trouble is, if you say to me, do a song about whatever, I will do. I'm very suggestive.
Okay, well, we can try that out if anyone else wants to.
If anyone's got something,
we could try it out. And
about. Thank you, Lou. Thanks for the idea.
I think that's going to be a hit. It's going to be a hit. Look out for that in the charts. Coming soon.
I mean, I'm not supposed to say.
Coming soon to the charts.
I've signed a non-disclosure agreement, but Robert De Niro has actually booked me for his daughter's wedding. And you know what he's like, Bobby De Niro. If I do a good gig at his wedding, daughter's wedding, I mean, look what happened in The Godfather. You know, they had plenty of money. I'm just hoping the break I've been waiting for. You know what I mean, Mark? Anyway, if anyone's watching this and doesn't like offensive things, it's probably not.
Yeah, this is. I probably maybe should have done a wee disclaimer at the start that
that's all right.
Bad language happens.
Your show. Anyway,
bad language happens if you are easily offended. This is might not be the show for you. Although it usually isn't that offensive. It's just usually quite funny. But there might be...
no, it's not massively offensive. But I do have Tourette's, so I occasionally do say things that might be a bit random.
Yeah, but I mean, I really enjoyed your Tourette's awareness video.
Oh, did you watch that one?
Yeah.
It was more like, because do you remember years ago when you booked me for a fest day, and I sent you like a sort of thing explaining so that if I was like twitching to get people not to grab us and stuff, it was just
Yeah.
trying to kind of reiterate that. But like, it's all good, you know. I'm lucky; I don't have it very badly at all. But it's just it's sometimes if you are ticking a lot and someone grabs you, it makes you a lot worse.
Well, I think it's just a lot of people don't understand it because
I
like,
don't
was that
understand
documentary about the swearing one, and it just seems to be that's the only kind of understanding that the general public has of it.
But I tell you who I should get her on the show one month. But I do gigs with my friend Jess, and she does a thing called Tourette's Hero. And what it was, right?
It's amazing.
Years ago, she was proper fucking depressed to fuck about having Tourette's as badly as she has got it. And she really likes comedy, and she was going to comedy gigs to watch them as a punter and being asked to leave because of tics. And she's trying to explain to them, I'm not heckling, I've just got some tics, I've got Tourette's. And she got thrown out of a gig by Mark Thomas. But she wrote to Mark. It wasn't his choice that she got thrown out. It was like, you know, over officious kind of staff in his theatre or whatever. And she wrote to Mark and explained that she wasn't heckling him, she's got Tourette's. And he actually wrote back to her. And she started to get into the idea that the only place you can't get thrown out of a gig from is on stage, if that makes sense.
I actually got flung off my own gig on
I've
stage
been thrown
once.
out of my own gig, to be fair. Jeff is a lot more sensible than me.
But the chances are a lot less, reduced significantly.
But what it was, how I met Jess was this. Years ago, I did a gig in Sheffield with this guy, and he's half of Cassette Boy, if you've heard of Cassette Boy.
Amazing.
Yeah, you know, they do the sort of video.
Most people will know Cassette Boy.
Yeah.
So he describe a mashup.
He's a mate of Jesse's, but he'd said to me, Chris, could I write a song for or with Jess, or for or about Jess? And I said, not without meeting her. I'm not going to try and write a song about somebody I've never met. So, like, although I happily would write one about Samuel L. Jackson, weirdly enough. In fact, I might do one now. Samuel L. Jackson went to the corner shop. He said, have you got any cheap bleach? Made a mess in the bathroom. And the woman behind the counter said, Samuel, you mucky twat, what you doing making messes in your lovely flat? You know, bed, what are you doing? Now your fucking carpet's ruined. Well, that was just a little one about Samuel L. Jackson.
Just a little one?
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, why was that? I saw Jess, right? I hadn't ever met her. And then I did this festival, this English festival called Shambhala. And I was on the camp.
I've heard great things about it. The Twistettes were booked for that last year before the pandemic.
Yeah, well, I was there doing a Captain Hotknife gig, and then I was just in the campsite, and I saw the fella from Cassette Boy, and he says, Jesse's here, do you want to come and meet us? I was like, yeah, cool. Went to meet her, and I started singing Bob the Amazing Sheepdog. I could do that as the next song after this story, but
That'd be great.
when I was singing Bob the Amazing Sheepdog, Jessie's tics, her vocal tics, she has a lot of motor tics, like she has a tic where she hits herself, but her motor tics kicked in. And also she started to join in with the words of Bob the Amazing Sheepdog. But she started saying, bears in spandex, in bed with your mum. So I just turned it into the next verse, and I was like, Bob came home early. He didn't know where his mum was. There was all these weird noises. He goes upstairs. His mother's surrounded by bears in spandex. And then that set off more ticks out of Jess, and then I turned them into more verses. But we both ended up ticking so badly that we both had a seizure each. We were both on the deck fitting. And then the next morning, this guy seen me and he says, that was amazing yesterday in the campsite. Could you do that on stage? And I thought, you sick bastard, you want to see two people have seizures at once, you bird. And then he went, no, the bit were before when you were doing songs. I thought you were like a band. And I was like, no, I've only just met Jess. But she come round in the morning and I said, do you want to go on stage and do what we did? And we didn't have a set, and both of us have got Tourette's, but I didn't really realise that at the time because it was before I had a diagnosis. But anyway, we got we get on stage.
Is that Glastonbury? Glastonbury Festival?
That's at Glastonbury, yeah. And this time at Shambhala, they put us on this stage at about 11 in the morning. So it's 11 in the morning on a Sunday at a big festival, or medium-sized big festival. So it's like people are really hungover and wiped out. It's Sunday morning. They stick us on stage. We don't actually have a set. We didn't actually know each other. We didn't have any fucking material at all. They gave us a mic each. And Jess, if you give her a microphone, she just headsbutts it. You can see the sound engineer creasing because his precious SM58's getting smashed to bits by Jess headbutting it. And she's just sort of going, don't headbutt the mic, bash! And that's booming through the PA. And I'm thinking, right, we need to say what we are or who we are. And there's an audience of people who were quite delicate, who really didn't need the grief. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're a new political party. We are the Bipolar Tourette's Alliance. I said to Jess, what do they get if they vote for us? And Jess goes, every fourth person gets a chandelier. And I was like, that fucking quality. So I'm going down the front row going, you get a chandelier, 2, 3, 4, you get a chandelier if you vote for us. And I just made up this whole fantasy that we were a like neurodiverse political party. And if you voted us in, we'd give you all these things. And then I was giving Jess the space to, her tics are really good. If you give her a list, something to list, her tics will come out. And you never know what she's going to say. Like that day, she was sort of saying, sex on the Lilo, Dagenham. Do you know what I mean? That kind of carry on. But I was trying to work that back into sort of spiel and going, ladies and gentlemen, if you vote for us, everyone will be able to have sex on a Lilo in Dagenham. A Lilo the size of Dagenham, covered in writhing bodies, orgasming at once. For one vote for the bipolar, you know what I mean? Like, and it were like I was almost sort of like the straight man, which I've never been before, because it's normally just me, Captain Hotknives on stage.
So it's Tourette's Hero. Is that her name?
Well, that's the band name. Performing name, and where it came from was she was her friend who's in Cassette Boy had said to her something along the lines of, instead of seeing Tourette's as a disability, see it as a superpower, because of a lot of her tics are very funny. And she doesn't know they're going to come. She'll be in the shop and she'll be like that. Your mum's in a bin in Harlesden. You know what I mean? And it is funny. So we thought, well, harness it and get people laughing with us because it's creative and it's funny, rather than sniggering behind their hands, like, if you know what I mean. And we did quite a lot of gigs together as a double act, and we did a lot of.
Also, I was just showing a wee
right,
video. I showed a bit earlier, but we'll just to show the superhero outfit.
Oh yeah, that's Jess's outfit for Tourette's.
It looks incredible.
If you look closely on this one, I've pissed myself. Can you see? Can you see the piss stain? I pissed myself during this.
Was that after you fought the grandfather for the land?
No, it was an entirely. This was proper bad. They had us on right. So the first gig we ever did was just us ranting, and somehow we got booked again. We've had some mad gigs. We once got put on after Napalm Death at Glastonbury. And while we were backstage, before we went on, we made a song called Face Palm Death. And it was just a list of things that made you want to face palm. So I'd say, Jess, what makes you want to face palm? And she'd go, stories on an escalator, do you know, or whatever. One of the chorus was, face palm, death, face palm, death. And all fucking Napalm Death are watching this going, who are these cunts? But we were at the side of their gig when they were doing their set, and they had like a 5,000 capacity stage. It was a fucking truth stage at Glastonbury. And they had us on straight after. We don't actually have a set, and neither of us...
It is a superpower, though, as well.
It is a superpower.
See when you're trying... I mean, you being able to think of a random adjective or a thing is difficult. It's also like humans as well. See if you ask someone to make up a number, most humans will put a 3 in it, and it's because we're you know that we're not very good at being randomly just creating something out of nothing.
And I've got a good example of this. Like one day, Jess shouted out for no apparent reason because it's a tic, and people try too much to overanalyze tics or why they happen. They just fucking do. Just accept it. And she shouted out, Malcolm X with a tiny toothbrush. And that made me instantly go, he's come to clean the pollution out of the mouth of America. Because my brain had to find the reason why Malcolm X would have a tiny toothbrush. And because her scenario set mine off, and it goes out of all control. I mean, we've been on stage and we've had signers, you see. We've got signers doing it in sign language. But we can't tell them what we're going to say because neither of us know. So they just have to follow it. Like,
fuck it. That's the sign language guys must have their work cut out for them for that.
Absolutely.
Obi Joe of China Shop Bill in Yorkshire. How you doing, man? He's saying, "Geez, Chris, you look like Lemmy."
Do you know what is embarrassing for me, Obi? I've now, right? I've always tried not to, but I now look like my dad. I look like my fucking father now. I've never had long hair, you see. But my dad
Yeah.
had like a ginger afro basically, but he had like. And now, if you stick a beard on my face, I look like my dad.
Well, this year's probably the first time that I've started looking at my dad. This year's the first time I've had a bit of a fat face. You know what I mean? So
we all just got stuck inside for too long. We need to burn all that fat off with loads of dancing and carrying on, don't we?
Marky Smith pissed himself on the main stage. Hot.
Can I tell you
I don't know
about
what tone she's saying.
No. Do you know what? It wasn't that I just pissed myself on stage. I'll explain what happened, right? Because it is quite good comedy gold. And it's also got a scary bit. So what's happened was, before this gig on that stage, that that footage you just showed, or that picture you just showed, that was on a stage called the Glade stage at Glastonbury, right? And we were going on, I think we were either before or after Cassette Boy. So there's about 2,000-3,000 people. But we'd done Glastonbury, to be honest, the proper cunts, and they make you do loads and loads of shows. If you're a small artist, they don't really pay you, and they have you doing loads of sets. And we did 7 gigs that weekend, and that was the 7th one. And I'd lost my voice.
What happens if you don't turn up for one?
Oh, you can't not do that. You know what Glastonbury's like. Do you know what I mean? They'd probably send Michael Eavis round on a hover mower. You'd probably go and mow your tent, get a strimmer on your face or something. You know what they're like. Emily Eavis with a machete, she'd be like that. Are you fucking about with Glastonbury, yeah? I'll cut your fucking ears off, you cunt. She does sound like that. She's a quite vicious woman. But anyway, so there was, and I've lost my voice. It's the 7th gig of the weekend. I had no voice. So Jesse's mates who were there, they were a lovely set of mates. They're saying, Chris, drink liquids. You said, they did point out, Chris, you've been awake since we got here on Thursday. It's now Sunday afternoon. Drink some fucking liquid that isn't special brew, you daft cunt. So I was like, have you got any special brew? Like, no, drink some fucking liquid. So I drank all this water, which was alien to my system, and my system was like, what's this? There's no bubbles in it. It's not poisonous. There's no alcohol. And my bladder was like, I'm not sure what this is. It's not even special brew. Water, panic, oh no. And so we get on stage, and I had just enough liquid to make my voice work. But after 2 songs, I was desperate for a piss. So I'm going to Jess, and this is me imagining no one's going to notice on a stage where there's 2,000 people's eyes are trained onto you. And behind us is massive screens with pictures of all, like there's a camera showing us up on a big screen. So I'm there, a 16.5 stone Yorkshire guy, thinking no one's going to see me saying to Jess.
And you got crotch cam on a big screen.
Yeah, and I'm just like, Jess, I've got to go for a piss. And she's going, Chris, don't leave me on stage. Now, Jess hasn't done, I've been doing gigs since I was 15 playing the bass, and then since I was 34 being Captain Hotknives. So I've done thousands of gigs. Jess kind of hasn't. And she's kind of relying on me to do the riffs, and you know what I mean? She didn't want me to leave her on her own, but it's either go off the stage or piss myself. So I ran to the back of the stage. Now, I don't know if this has ever happened to anyone, but like when your cock is trying not to let your body piss itself, sometimes it swells up a little bit. And I couldn't get it out of my jeans. I had these charity shop jeans that were dead pale. Couldn't get it out of my jeans fast enough, and half the piss went down the inside of my leg. And then the rest was firing off the back of the stage. It was nowhere near the toilet, so just literally at the back of the stage behind the drums. And this big guy with a Shosek thing on with a Glasgow accent comes down and he's going, what are you fucking doing, son? Big old fucking bruiser looked like a blue angel or something. He's like, what are you fucking doing, son? And I'm there urinating profusely. I'm thinking, does he not know what I'm doing? But like my mouth being what it is, I'm like, mate, what does it look like I'm fucking doing, you daft gun? I said, I'm in the middle of a gig. I says, you'll have to tell me off later. I'm a bit busy. So I run back on stage, put my dick back in the pants. But there was a massive piss stain down my leg. And also, while I'd been off stage, Jess, stranded on her own, no music, no fucking straight man, she developed a tick that went like this. There's a little bit of light between my eye and my piss. There's a little bit of light between my eye and my piss. There's a little bit of light between my eye and my piss. And its name is Samuel L. Jackson. And she had the whole crowd singing along, 2,000 people. There's a little bit of light between my eye and my piss. And I'm like, I walked back into this covered in piss. And this entire audience was like, Hotknives. Do you know those dreams you have, like an anxiety dream? Like you're doing the biggest gig of your life and you piss yourself. That's exactly my sort of gig that happens to me. That. So yeah. So, but if anyway, what we should do is maybe ask Jess to come on the show once because
I would love to have
Jess's
Jess on the
whole
show
thing is
anytime, man.
about
Anytime. I think we all would.
the whole
But
thing as well is very much geared about giving people with Tourette's like a G up because it's one of the conditions you're going to get the most grief about. Like I've only got it mildly. I have a few motor tics and I make a clicking noise as if I'm talking to a horse, and that's about it. Although when I was really poorly, I developed a tic that a guy in my yard, I used to shout out English cunts. But luckily, I'm in Bradford, so it was all right. No one was really bothered. I don't know where that one came from. So every time I open my front door, I'm like, English cunts. And it's not the best of ticks. And I get really camp ticks. I get a tick. I started out ticking at that bit from the Fugees, you know, ooh la la la. But then it just turned into ooh la la. And I'll be just stood in a queue to the bar or something, and I'm big, and I rock back and forth when I'm stood still, and I have twitchy movement, and I'm like that, ooh la la, you know, as a tick. But people, guys, do you know who hates me the most?
so there's a tick. So that one, just how long did that tick was with you for a while, and then it just disappeared?
A few months I was saying ooh la la, and I still do.
And then it just one day it just
sometimes
goes.
it changed round. I had a period of having Irish Republican ticks was a bit dangerous. I had Republican ticks for a while, and that could have got
Republican.
me. Yeah, I used to tick up the Ra and Chocky Allah as ticks, and I'd be in the fucking queue. You know what I mean? I'd be getting on the bus, and the worst one was
playing a gig in Glasgow.
Oh no, worse than that, Mark. I did a gig at the Warzone in Belfast, and the gig the night before was in Dublin. Right now, in the Dublin gig, I ended up in this flat with a load of Serbian skinheads. You know how it is. And I'm there with all these Serbian skinheads. They bring out a bowl of speed, like a fucking cereal bowl full of whiz, on the table and go, help yourself. And I'm like, I can't do speed anymore because I have fits. But I did used to love the speed, but can't do any stimulants now. All I can do is the draw or the mushies. So I'm like, no, I'm all right, lads. But because none of them went to bed, I didn't get to go to sleep. So the next day I'm up in Belfast, sleep deprived as fuck. Gets out of the van at the Warzone venue. But it's, you know, when you get to a venue and it hasn't opened yet, and you're waiting for the sound guy to sound check and all that kind of thing, and I'm like bored. And I thought, I need a bottle of Buckfast and I need a battery for my guitar. You know, those little bits in your guitar that have a preamp and you need a battery for it.
Both you and your guitar both need a charge.
Yeah, and both of us exactly well thought. So I'm walking down this road and I walk past this big house, and on the end of the house there's a massive picture of Brian May on a horse. And I'm like, they must love Brian May on this road. There's just this guy with big like curly hair on a big horse rearing up. I thought, what's Brian May doing on an horse on a wall in Belfast?
The image that just I got in my head there was the guy from the Canon McCune export.
Oh yeah, him. Yeah,
that guy.
There was basically a guy like that on a horse on a wall, and I'm just fucking single-minded, sleep deprived, stoned out of my tits. I've got an inside-out Harrington on, you know, with the tartan bit on the outside. I walks down this street, and all the graffiti is like pictures of guys with AK-47s, and like these 3 letters, UVF, and I'm like, oh bollocks! What? I felt like, you know, I ain't in Kansas anymore, Toto. Do you know what I mean? I thought, I'm a bit out of my depth on this estate, and I'm just thinking, if there's not a shop soon, I'll go back to the venue. Then I saw this corner shop, and I thought, well, I'm near to a shop, I'll go in it. And it was like the size of a little co-op, and I went in, and I'm looking for some special brew. They didn't have any. And as I'm in the shop, a lot of bandsmen came in with his drums, even little kids in his uniforms with like white thingies on and orange thingies and these hats. All come into the shop, and my mouth was wanting to get me killed. I'm born in fucking Bradford, mate. I'm not much part of the struggle. You know what I mean? Sectarianism in Bradford, or Sunni and Shia. You know what I mean? But I am, my mum's family, we are Catholic and all that, and I've got one of these on. You know what I mean? St. Christopher's a bit of a giveaway, innit? And I'm just like, shit, and my mouth was really trying to get me killed, my mouth. Because it's so inappropriate to say the thing. The thing tries to say itself. Are you with me? And I was pretty much trying to hold my face shut to not shout out up the Ra, Chocky Allah, and all that kind of thing in a shop full of orange men. And when I got to the counter, I was trying to ask for the battery and the Buckfast, But in order to not tick, I tried to speak as quickly as I could. So there I am. I've got an inside-out Harrington on. At the time, I had a shaved head, so I looked like a skinhead. And I'm basically a large skinhead who they've never seen, stinking of cannabis, in their corner shop. And I'm saying to the guy, "Can I have a battery in the book fast, please? Book fast, batteries, bookeries, battery, book fast." And trying not to shout, "Chuck your hair up the bar." Fucking hell. And the guy's looking at me like, I can't even do a Belfast, East Belfast accent, but he's, like, "What's the matter with you, man?" And I'm like, "Batteries booked." I'm pointing at these Duracells like fucking, trying to hold my face shut, trying to just get out of the shop alive. "Batteries booked fast." In the end, I've thrown him this money, and it was British money, which I don't like having British money in my pocket because it's got the Queen on it, the horrible cunt. So I've given him the Queen. He's given me some coins, and I could not get out of that shop fast enough. And I got about 10 or 15 yards away from the front door of the shop, and my mouth was just fucking Bobby Sandsing it out loud. And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, mouth." And I managed to get back to it.
Speaking of...
It's just been the anniversary, hasn't it?
Well, speaking of Bob, there's another Bob the sheepdog.
Oh, Bob the Amazing Sheepdog, as somebody else said.
Bob the Amazing Sheepdog. Right, we're going to come back. We're going to have Bob the Amazing Sheepdog, and then we're going to get our first guest on, because I know that we've got two in the green room here just now. Yeah.
So
bring them on, and then we're going to go back. We'll go back. We've got lots of comments coming in. We've got Sharon says.
Along with that story, man.
Sharon Drysdale says, "Smile, Mark." Sharon Drysdale of the patriarchy says, "Smile, love. It might never happen." Says Sharon Drysdale of the patriarchy.
Boy, Mark, get your tits out, bruv. Show a bit of leg, bruv. Smile, darling.
This is a nice message. Lou saying, "My non-verbal son just copied your ooh la la. You're a miracle worker as well as a pure legend."
Oh, give over. I'm not a miracle worker, but that's nice that he has done that. Oh, good lad.
That is.
I worked with
very nice.
I worked with a guy at my old job, and they told me he was non-verbal. And one day I just really quietly said to him, I said, "Listen, is the reason that you're not talking to the staff because they're talking down to you as if you're stupid?" And he just very quietly went, "Yes." And I thought, he ain't non-verbal, he just can't be arsed with dickheads. Do you know what I mean? And then he started cracking jokes. I had him cracking jokes because he never used to talk, but we went outside, and out of his pocket he gets a plastic fork, chucks it out onto the floor, and then he goes, "There's a fork in the road." And I was like, "Yes, go on, lad." Supposedly non-verbal, and he was getting the funnies out. So do you need a quick song, Mark? Sorry, Ed, my spoilers.
Well, we're going to. Well, do you know what? Before we do that, hold that thought.
Right.
I just want to tell everyone to get the bus to YouTube. Most people are watching it on YouTube tonight, but I know there's people on Twitch and Twitter and Facebook. But we're going to just advise you that you get the bus to YouTube. I put a link in the comments. Click that. The audio is much better, the video is much better, and that's where all the crack is in the comments. That's where you're going to get the banter. So everybody, get the bus to YouTube. I've put the link in the comments. You do that, and I'll just give them a wee second, give you a chance to get tuned up as well. I'm just going to play a wee little 30-second clip. So give everyone a chance to grab the bus to YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, no respect in the aspect to the man like Mark. They love what the man talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio, call that the radio. You call that radio, call that the radio. Come and say, in my name, I'll just go with the flow. In my name, I'll just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Boom. Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio. You call that radio. Come and say, don't you be another man, I'll go lose your head. Say, don't you be another, me say, I'll lose the head. Me say, radio. Call that radio. Straight from out of Glasgow. Straight from out of Glasgow, nice enough all the studio. Come and say, in my name, I'll just go with the flow. In my name, I'll just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you you miss a mark, now go bang down low. No radio, radio. You call that the radio, radio. Them man I give you miss a lot of subject, and them a thing a man you can't object. So don't you ever come and disrespect. I love and respect in a every aspect.
I should call that radio TV. Oh, I've went blurry. I went blurry because I shut the curtain. We're live with the one and only Captain Hotknives. It's so good to have you back, mate. I really, I love these shows. I love them.
Do you know what, Matt? Right. We do stuff like, you're a musician, you're a wordsmith, you're a gig promoter, you're a fucking active guy. And without people like you, fuck all happens. People like me don't have a gig unless somebody like you organises one. Do you get me? But this show means a lot more to me than... Because I'm not one to be asked about interviews and radio, and I'm not one to be asked about self-promotion, because Captain Hotknives isn't about rockstar shit. It's just I'm a random cunt, and I've found a way of doing it in the pub without getting chucked out. Are you with me? And it's a little niche that I've got, that I can do rude and filthy songs, pretending it's art, and not get chucked out of the pub. And in fact, some pubs even give me money.
It is art, man. But you know what I mean? Do yourself a disservice. It is art, man. It's like that. What I'm getting to
is, see, while all this lockdown happened, and when I got so fucking sick with COVID and nearly died last year, and then I had a massive load of months of depression afterwards. Do you know what? You kept in touch with me all the way through that. Not about business, not about music, just like as a fucking human being. And you're one of the people that did. And you're the only fucker I like talking to in this way, like an interview. Because it's you. Are you with me? And I know you a bit, and we've had the crack, and this is like real. I don't want to be on no telly, but I'll be on your telly. Do you see? And I can honestly say it's helped me get through depression. The last show I did was like, I'm back to being alive, even though I couldn't play a gig on a stage in a pub. And the crack I had with your other guests, me and Petra were talking until 10 o'clock the next morning, and what it felt like was the best house party you've been to.
10 o'clock?
Yeah, we were having the crack for hours. Like, she's a diamonde, she's a great singer. She's like Chrissy Hynde, but more beautiful and with a better voice. She's fucking great, man. Anyway,
well, she's going to be on the show later on.
Is she? Oh, wicked!
She is going to be on the show.
I tell you, all the guests last time were fantastic of yours. I really like Gary. You know, he had that
the bollocks, yeah.
And the thing what I wanted to ask you is, I need to speak to him and learn how to forage properly and make fires, because I saw his show where he does it. Fucking Ray Mears is a cunt. He's a fat cunt. He goes in a fucking hotel, that cunt. But fucking Gary does it for real.
We're actually going to be having a show tomorrow. We're doing it every week for the last few weeks. Is he on
tomorrow, Gary?
No, he's not on tomorrow, but he's my pick for the new, when Scott, the question for tomorrow's show is, when independence happens, what should be the new national anthem? And I'm going to vote for Gary the Bollocks. I don't know if the audience is voting or we're voting. No, I think the audience gets to select what they want this new Scottish national anthem to be as, and then the panel's going to vote on it. Tomorrow's show's we did one about drugs 2 weeks ago, we did one about education last week. Tomorrow it's about representation with Jim Monaghan, Kevin P. Gilday, Rosa Sally, Elaine Gallagher and Ines Magzub. So that's tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. You call that politics. And we're just doing everyone in the lead up to the election, man. We're just trying to avoid party politics and just talk about actual ideas.
Yeah, ideas is a good thing to talk about. I think because of COVID happening, you could look at this time. I'm looking at it in my own life as a time where I could think, I used to do about 100 gigs a year, which is ace, and I'm grateful for every single gig I've ever been offered. And it's been a fucking great crack to do. But you also then don't have like a girlfriend or a social life at all, because every Friday and Saturday you're gigging. And your mates who are not gigging, you never see. So I'm thinking, because my health has took a beating and I'm not as sort of hardy as I was pre-COVID, I'm going to ease back into gigging. And I thought, what do I like and what do I not like? And you know what I like the best is small gigs. Yeah. The less people, and if you can see them all, you can get that intimate thing where everyone's in on every joke, where sometimes if you've got a big crowd, the ones at the back are coked up talking away to their mates about whatever. The ones in the middle are trying to shush them. The ones at the front are kind of half getting it.
I mean, they can hear that. They can hear the. It doesn't matter how much you try and focus on an act that you're really loving. If there's just that little hum in the background of people talking or people shushing each other, it just throws the vibe off completely.
Yeah, totally. And the thing is, because my stuff's so spontaneous, as you've noticed, like I just made that song up about spontaneously ejaculating in Tesco's.
It was a good example of spontaneity.
I just go off on tangents, but if people are talking over it, it's not because I'm a prima donna, it's because I'm ADHD to fuck. I'm so easily distracted. I distract myself. My brain's got 10 trains of thought going on at any given time, but if I can hear other conversations, I get pulled into them and think, oh, I wonder what time it is, or blah, instead of thinking, what's the next thing I'm playing? So,
Tam the Van says you're invited to the garden. Now, that would be a great place for you to say. Tam's Secret Animal Garden.
Do you know what we could do, Mark? I'm thinking about doing this. I've got a pal that's got a boyfriend in Glasgow. So they drive up from my area to Glasgow periodically every few weeks and a couple of weeks. Soon I'm going to get a lift to Glasgow. Could do a backyard tour and play 5 gigs to 6 people at a time. Have the best time of your life, you know? Something like that.
Let's do it. Let's make it happen. I'll get back to the I'll catch up with the comments in a little bit. Yeah. Let's get Bob the Sheepdog. We'll read some comments, and then we're going to bring on our first guest of the evening, who's a man that you're bringing us on. It's Jason, and then I'm going to bring on my first guest tonight, which will be Victor Pope. So brilliant. I think you're going to love Victor Pope stuff.
I just want to say, like, the last month's guests, every fucking single one of them was fucking ace, and it was the best.
They raised the bar. They raised the bar last month. So
above that for time. So Bob the Amazing Sheepdog, do we need? Yeah.
Bob we need it. We need it. Hashtag Bob the Amazing Sheepdog. We need it.
Bob the Amazing Sheepdog, he was amazing. He was a genius sheepdog, he could do things other sheepdogs could not do. He could do things, he was good with a pool cue, he was amazing. He was a genius sheepdog, he was a pool shark. He was a pool shark sheepdog, he could do cryptic texts. He did cryptocurrency and he wore a vest. He was unusual. He was an intelligent sheepdog. He studied with Stephen Hawking. Stephen Hawking taught him all about physics and synthesizers, but he only ever used the IRA synthesizers, made by Roland out of Grange Hill. And he always took good pills. He always had those speckled doves. They filled him full of love. They filled him with the love of God above. Bob the Amazing, Bob the Pool Shark Sheepdog, he was amazing. He was a genius sheepdog. He could do things other sheepdogs could not do. He had a PhD in modern film and media studies, which is unusual in a dog. And more than that, he was a pool shark. And I'll explain his trickery so you will know if you meet him. He went into Skipton on a Wednesday when the farmers were in spending their pay. He challenged them to a frame or two, and they laughed like farmers do. They laughed to see such fun. They thought he's a dog, he can't be any good at pull, he has no thumbs. He's got no thumbs, how will he hold his cue? And Bob let them win a few, like pool sharks do. They got confident, they got boisterous and drunk, they got pissed and coked up, and he just smoked some skunk. He kept his mind on the balls. Not his own balls, but the ones with the stripes and the spots. He did not lose his concentration. Oh no, because Bob's an amazing sheepdog. Bob's an amazing, he's a genius sheepdog. He can do things other sheepdogs could not do. He's amazing. He's so good with a pull cue, and he let the farmers win. nearly all the night. He filled them full of ketamine. They were talking shite. And then he said, lads, shall we make this next frame more interesting? And he put 50 fucking quid down on the table. The farmers laughed, thinking he's shit, he's lost every game. They put their 50 down and they started to play. He let the farmer break. He made fake mistakes. He let the farmer pot nearly every stripe, nearly every single stripe, but then he ain't balled him. He ain't balled him and sunk the black. He took these 50 quid and he run off out the back. He went to the farm, he got the farmer's wife, he took her in the Range Rover and started a new life. And when the farmer came home, there was a note on the kitchen table. It was in very scratchy paw writing. Looked like the paw writing of a border collie. And the note was from Bob. And the note said this: dear farmer, I'm too amazing for you, I'm too amazing for you. I know your PIN number. I've emptied all your accounts, even the money you got from the EU pre-Brexit. And I took your car, and I took your wife, and now I'm shagging her leg. Now I'm shagging her leg, and now I'm shagging her leg. Now I'm shagging her leg, covering her in snag, covering her in sheepdog snag, and she loves it. And the farmer, he wept, he cried, he wished he hadn't upset his wife. He missed his Bob, his best friend. He took the time to go to Bradford on the train. He was insane with the pain. Being left alone, his wife cheating with his dog, man's best friend fucking man's wife. It was too much to take. He went down near to the mosque at the back of the phone box. He scored 2 rocks. He borrowed a pipe, mucky as you like. He chatted to Chong, it all went wrong. And then coming past very fast was a Range Rover. And who was driving that car? Yes, you know. It was Bob the Amazing Sheepdog. He was listening to the farmer's stereo. His paw was on the farmer's wife's clitoris. She was coming hard as he drove past the backyard of the pub, distributing free drugs to the working girls so they could have a night off from sucking lully for 5 rupees. Sucking lully for 5 rupees. A Bradford habit that we all have to do occasionally. Sucking lully for 5 rupees or €10. Anyway, Bob, he saw the farmer smoking his last rock. He pulled up in the car. He said, oh, tell you what, farmer, I've got your wife, I've got your Range Rover, I've got all your money. You can have this. And he gave him a gift. It was a gift-wrapped box. The farmer was so happy. It was like a Christmas present. It had a little ribbon, and off drove Bob with the farmer's wife in the farmer's Range Rover with all the farmer's money. The farmer thought, he's still my best friend. He's given me this present. And he opened it right there in the phone box, and it had inside a dog turd. Sorry. Right then, Mark, sorry. Yeah, get...
Weirdo, do you want it?
If you don't really know what's going on, there's a show that also doesn't know what's going on. Call that radio TV. You call that radio. Call that radio TV. You call that radio TV.
Hey, Mark. You're muted.
We're live, as you call that, Radio TV. We're live with Captain Hotknives for the Captain Hotknives open mic night, and I think it's almost about time to bring on our first guest. Just a little reminder, if you're still watching us on Twitch or Twitter or Facebook, you need to click the link to go to YouTube. I'll put it in the comments again. But get the bus to YouTube. This is the final call to get the bus to YouTube if you want to watch the rest of tonight's show. So get the bus to YouTube by here. If you're already on YouTube, then don't worry about it. You're here. Strap yourself in and get ready for our first guest. Chris, what can you tell us about our first guest?
Okay. Our first guest coming up is a mate of mine from the punk scene, because 99% of my gigs tend to be on punk lineups, which upsets me because I'm more of a delicate poet than a punk rocker. Oh, those punk rockers, they're so uncouth with their amphetamine psychosis and their tight trousers, enjoying themselves in public. But anyway, this lad is have a really good... He's been in a few bands in Hastings down south, and all of his bands have been ace. They're full of energy. They're fucking belting performers. And in their gigs, they have the audience try and do human pyramids and all this kind of carry on. Like, people always get... Their gigs are like the beginning of an episode of Casualty. You can pretty much hear the Casualty music in the background when they come on stage, because their fans are so mental. They try doing human pyramids and stuff, and then they all fall off of lighting gantries and things, and they fall on each other, and and they're total chaotic mad cunts. But this guy, after years of doing these bands, he's started his own band where he's like the banjo player and the singer, but he's going to do some solo songs of his today. But he's an absolute diamond fella. But also, all the gigs I've seen him do, the pub just gets, there's people upside down in bins and carryings on, and people falling off of stuff. There's always at least 3 broken limbs at one of their gigs. So he's a good lad, and he's called Jason, and he's coming up next. Pardon me?
Jason.
Hey up.
Jason Sterling. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, how you doing?
Quite an introduction. I hope none of our viewers are going to get injured during this.
I might break my own arm just because it's in.
For those who don't know, Chris is a hell of a break dancer, so I'm sure you'll see his legs spinning.
I'm intending a bit of head spinning during your set. I've got a bit of
Jason, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for joining us on the show. Please take it away, and we'll get a wee chat after.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll play a song, yeah.
Don't run with scissors, keep the matches out of reach. When the wolf is outside your door and you don't practice what you preach. Well, children now they run wild, there's no containing this savage beast. When the wires and the words can kill you, you aren't even safe in your sleep. Well, no. Down you will go and we built this horror show. This is all we now know. As you drown in a hole. Now everyone's an expert, this is crazy, can't you see? Well, this information overload, it seems obvious to me. Well, don't trust the doctors, the trees have poison in their leaves. Weaponizing all the culture, chemtrails as far as the eye can see. Well, no. Down you will go, we built this horror show. This is all we now know. As you drown in a hole. Truth of the matter is that not much has changed. When there's a hood to hide the face, then we are quick to feel the pain. But we are too young now to be wielding this wild flame. As history repeats itself over and over again. Down you will go and we built this horror show. This is all we now know. As you drown in a hole. Cool. That's
Amazing stuff.
Down in the hole.
Excellent.
Brilliant stuff, man.
Little blunder in the middle. It was a new one, that. I only wrote it about a month ago.
Well, that's what me and Chris were talking about last night. You just, if it's a new one, then nobody knows.
Yeah.
Just style it out. I've got a live stream gig next Friday, and it's new songs, and the band haven't played them yet until we've got 2 practices next week to get it right. And you can't get it right in 2 practices, so there will be mistakes. But I'll just be, what did you say, Captain Hotknives? It's improv jazz improvisation.
Yeah, it's like, you know, if you fuck up on stage, right? As a musician, you worry about doing it so much. You think, I can't fuck this up, And sometimes you think that so much that you do fuck it up. Whereas, remember when you're just watching a band, you don't notice. Nah. It's just a wall of fucking sound. The only times you notice if it stops. So I learned this early because I was a shit bass player in shit bands in the 80s. But I realised that as long as you carry on, it seems as if you meant to do it. Even if you're a fret up from the rest of the band. After the gig, they're all going, you fucking cunt. You were a fret up from us on every single chord through the whole gig. And I'm like, that don't restrict my development. Told me to do that. I was fucking improvising.
How dare you restrict my development?
Yeah, Brian Blessed actually came in out of the outside and he was like, Gordon's annoyed. Don't restrict Hotknives' developments. Blah! And they had
the only bands I've ever noticed making mistakes are bands that I actually love, and I've watched so many times that I notice it.
Oh yeah, but you know the song.
But then it feels like you're part of an inside joke, because you don't have to get any less of a band you like because they make a mistake. You just feel like part of it because you can see the guitarist and the bassist look at each other like, oh, and it's like, yes, I like this band even more.
What I think, Mark, is this, right? Audiences, they're willing you to succeed more than they're willing you to fail.
Yeah.
Are you in?
And that's why a stand-up comedian will 9 times out of 10 destroy a heckler, because nobody wants a heckler. No one wants to hear a heckler.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine people heckling me. I feel sorry for them. Can you imagine starting a war of words with me?
Is there any heckles that stick in your mind?
I've never done
Anyone who
that.
heckled you, Chris, wouldn't leave the gig the same person they walked through the door.
No, they wouldn't. And I wouldn't even be able to help it. I'm just wired that way. I had a bit of a strange upbringing. Like, my dad used to make me fight. And I hate fighting. I'm shit at fighting. I'm much more camp. I'm too camp for all that shit. Anyway, I just wanted to... Do you know what I wanted to be when I grew up? Was Sid Vicious, because he couldn't play, but he was still famous. I thought he didn't even have to learn to play. I thought I could do that. And I got a bass, and I was absolutely shit at it. And then I was walking down the street, and these lads saw me have a bass. But in the early 80s, not many people owned a bass on that estate. Do you know what I mean? These lads said, are you a bass player? So I just lied and went, oh, yeah. Like, I couldn't play it. I got it off these 2 smackhead brothers that I knew, and they'd nicked it off somebody. So I was like, I just liked the look of it. And I said, oh, yeah, I can play it. So I said, do you want to come to the rehearsal on Tuesday? So I turned up on Tuesday. I necked a Grammar Whiz and a bottle of red wine. And
that's what Sid Vicious would have did.
Yeah, exactly.
You're living up to the
So I just turned up absolutely with my heart, pretty much, like cartoon characters where the heart's coming out of the chest when they see a sexy rabbit. Because I had that much whiz, and I was unbelievable now from a fat cunt, but I was skinny cunt then. So my fucking heart's doing this, boom, boom, boom. I couldn't play the bass, and I just came in the rehearsal, and they said, have you got an amp? And I went, no. They said, have you got a guitar lead? I went, no. I said, have you got a guitar strap? And I went, no. And they said, it's only got 3 strings on it, mate. And I was like,
and don't restrict my development. I've learned to play it on 3.
You can totally get by with 3 strings on a bass if you know what you're
exactly.
doing.
One more string than you need. That's actually too many strings.
You only need 2 strings on a bass.
There's that old joke, isn't there? This little kid says to his dad, Dad, can I have a fucking tenner for a bass lessons? And his dad's like, you'll never make a living out of music, son. Far more talented people than you have died in the gutter from drugs, or they've got locked up mentally ill trying to be musicians. But the kid's like, but Dad, just a tenner. I want to learn the bass. So his dad goes, all right then, here's a tenner. So he comes back from lesson and he goes, what have you learnt today, son? he goes, Dad, I've learned all the notes and frets on the thickest string. So he goes, well, it's actually quite good. It seems like he has actually been for a bass lesson. Fair enough. If he wants to do it, I think it's the toughest thing to do. A Gaylord would play an instrument. If he's not battering people or playing rugby, he's obviously gay, but very much I'll give him a tenner next week. See if he stops being such a puff. And then the next week, the kid's like, Dad, can I have a tenner? He goes, like, go on then. Comes back after his second lesson and he goes, Dad, I've learned every note on the second thickest string. So he does like, bloody hell, he's taking it serious. Fair enough. He's no good at rugby and he can't ride an horse and he's got no more skills, but fair enough.
He's no Brian May.
Yeah, he's not Brian May and he can't
ride a horse.
He's learning something. So the following week, he goes, Dad, can I have a tenner for the bass lesson? He goes, all right, you can, son. I'm quite impressed this third week you've done it. And he don't come home that night, the kid. He comes home 3 days later, stinking like he's been dipped in a vat of skunk. He's covered in lipstick. He's got a new tattoo on his head. And he's lost the fucking bass. And his dad goes, what the fuck happened to you at third lesson? And he goes, I did my first gig. You can do a gig on 2 strings on the bass. I got away with it. When I turned up to that rehearsal of that actual band, because they could actually play, I just admitted that I couldn't play, but because people were so skint, I was the only cunt they knew had a bass. So I said, if you teach me to play, I'll learn it. And in 6 weeks, I did the first gig. The guitarist was a really patient guy. He's still my mate now, and he had the front to show me, like, put your finger onto that bit where the dot is, twat that string 8 times, move it down, twat that there. You know, he broke it down to a level that an ADHD glue-sniffing child could get. And I used to annoy the fuck out of my little brother because we were in bunk beds. I'd be on the top bunk with this unplugged in bass out of tune with 3 strings, imagining I'm Sid Vicious, just spraying the fuck out of it like all night. And then my brother got so fed up that one night he waited till I was asleep and he put his feet under my ass, under the mattress, and braced his back on his bed, and he quickly pushed upwards so that I fell out of bed while I was asleep. So I landed on the floor like bang in the middle of a dream, and I woke up and my brother's going, stop playing that fucking bass, you cunt. I'm like, fuck off. It made me want to do it more. And my stepdad like, you can't play rugby, you've got asthma, you're clearly homosexual. And I'm like, look, fuck you, I'm Sid Vicious. And the more people told me not to do it, and then with the first gig I had, a girl that I'd fancied for ages, and she looked a bit like that girl, you know, in This Is England, there's that girl called Smell. She's like a bit gothic-y. She was, because it was the 80s and the girls did look like that. And this girl snogged my face off because I was in the band. And that were me then. I come home, I says to my mum, I'm a bass player now, mum. She's like, no, you fucking aren't. You're getting a job. And I'm like, no, bass players don't have jobs, mum. I'm an anarchist now. And I'm still at it. I'm 51. I still haven't fucking toed the line.
Brilliant stuff.
Sorry, Mark, I'm a bit talkative today.
That's all right. No, it's all good, man. I'm loving it. You're on form. I'm loving your stories, man.
Oh, sorry, it's a bit talky.
No, it's brilliant, man. It's amazing. Jason, just to bring you into the conversation a little bit, what's the best way for people to support what it is you do? Is it you got a Bandcamp or anything that people can check out?
Yeah. Just like I had a new EP that come out on the 6th of February this year. It's under Jason Sterling and the Blue Moon Band. And I
Jason Sterling and the word and I'm just going to bring up on the screen while you do your next tune. So and is the word and
the Blue Moon Band.
Yes, and the word and rather than the Prince symbol.
Oh, it might be the ampersand thing.
I'll find out. I'll find out while you're playing, Jason. Do you have 1 or 2 more tunes?
However many. I don't
know. What we'll do is we'll get 2 more tunes, and then we'll get Victor Pope on. So just play both tunes back to back, mate, and I'll bring the Bandcamp link on the screen so people can check it out.
Okay, cool. Start then. I'll crack on. Cheers.
Cast off your burdens is what the good book says. But beware the word of God, it'll make you the devil instead. To become the shadow that darkens every door. You take it all and all you want is more, 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 more. There'll be no words that any could say. Take you back to those innocent early days. As the bridges crumble, you are yet to learn. The foundation's laid with no remorse. Cause it all when it's gone, it's gone. It's the locked doors and the lost keys that keep me safe from me. When I dare to peer through the cracks, they peer right back from me. And that is all I see as they stare into where my heart should be. My heart should be. Now my mother's eyes are a distant memory. She turned away so long ago, but she couldn't bear the sight of me. The path of gold hides my endless walk of shame. I crushed so many, loving so, so hard. Now all they know is hate. Now I'm the poison in the well. The coldness will consume you as your heart begins to fail. You'll feel no fear or anger, love or rage. Just the endless lust for power to your final words. A life's page. It's the locked doors and the lost keys that keep you safe from me. When I dare to peer through the cracks, they peer right back from me. And that is all I see as they stare into where my heart should be. My heart should be. It's the locked doors and the lost keys that keep me safe from me. When I dare to peer through the cracks, they peer right back from me. And that is all I see as they stare into where my heart should be. My heart should fucking be. I love real early in this life, you gotta go it alone. I broke from town to town and hustle's all I know. I too many scars at night I began with my soul. If only having value left from all the debts I owe. The snake eyes are always watching me. I stare back wide-eyed and embrace their destiny. I play the games cause the games are all I know. The gambling life and taking it all. Watch me as I fall. Watch me as I fall. Fortune tellers and bastards, crooked money and plastic gold. My life is a house of mirrors, unscrew and endless roads. Hidden in my face is each deception I have sold. You wouldn't recognize this vaccine brought to my bones. The snake eyes are always watching me. I stare back wide-eyed and embrace their destiny. I play the games cause the games are all I know. The gambling life and taking it all. Watch me as I fall. Watch me as I fall. I cut my heart out and I cast it to the stones. I did it so long ago, I feel like a living ghost. The dice are loaded and the cards they are set. Each step I take towards the edge, what matters away to me. next. Watch me as I fall. Whoa. Watch me as I fall. Whoa. Watch me as I fall. Whoa. Watch me as I fall. Cheers.
Brothers and sisters. Is that you, Daniel? Are you before me?
Call that radio.
You call that radio.
Hello, yes, this is Dog.
This is You Call That Radio TV. Right now, we've got the Captain Hotknives open mic night. Tomorrow, we've got You Call That Politics, a special about representation. On Tuesday, I'm delighted to announce that Stanley Odd will be on the show to promote their new album. Solar Eye's also going to be playing a gig with me and Loki, Becky Wallace, Dope Sick Fly, The Girl Cried Wolf, CCTV, Steg G, Empress, Freestyle Master. We're all playing a live stream gig next Friday that you can watch in real time. £8, all the money goes to Refugee, which helps refugees in Glasgow. And we've got, and also the other half of the money goes to Sunny Lovin' FM, which does a lot of good work for the community. Wednesday night, we've got the Secret Animal Garden Party. That was a garden that Tam the Van mentioned earlier on. We filmed some amazing sessions and we're really looking forward to that one. It's going to be a good one. We're live right now with the Captain himself. We've got Jason Sterling in the house as well. Amazing stuff for Jason. The link for, I've put it in the comments, Jason Sterling, the Blue Moon Band. There is no and, it turns out. It's just Jason Sterling, the Blue Moon Band. So if you enjoy this music, please go and show support by going into Bandcamp and downloading something. That'd be brilliant. And Jason, have you got any memories of playing with Captain Hotknives?
Yeah, loads. We've played loads of gigs together over the last probably like 6 years. Like in my band, I play Matilda Scoundrels, which is a folk punk band. Like when we've been mostly we played loads together. More so when I was playing with the band, which is on a hiatus at the moment. But yeah, we've known each other for years now, haven't we? We were talking earlier on about how someone always ends up upside down a wheelie bin, and I was like, are my viewers safe? We've got Aljo Tartan 32 says, I just stabbed myself. Cheers, Jason. And
it's just something about that man. He looks quite mild-mannered. He's kind of like the Clark Kent of violent gigs. You think, he walks in the venue, you think, these guys are going to be nice and chilled. And then all the mates turn up, and it's like a fucking human pyramid. And they're like, it's just like, what are they doing? And I'm like,
I need to introduce you to another captain. There's a guy we know called Captain Chaos. He might be tuned in just now. And he had the nickname Captain Chaos. I'd heard all about him. Spring Break, I've even done a song about him called Captain Chaos. Yeah. And then when I met him, he was a mild-mannered guy. And I was like, I have no idea where this comes from. And then after a night out with him, things happen. Things just happen. Chaos happens, even though it doesn't seem to mean it.
When you're with Chris, like I remember one of my fondest memories when we played at the New Cross Inn about.
Fucking hell, yeah!
Remember when we gave you a lift back?
You gave us a lift all the way back to Hastings.
Yeah. We were sat in the front. You and me were sat in the front of the van.
That was a really.
We just got fucking wrecked.
I reckon actually that's my abiding memory of you as well, because it was when you can't fucking drive. Because I'm told by neurologists don't drive a car.
I wasn't driving, by the way, when we were doing
it. No.
I was pretty fucked.
You know how it is in bands. The poor cunt who's driving, everyone else is fucked. And me and him were...
Me and Chris.
The poor bastard who's driving the vehicle is sat next to me and him. We're basically cuddling each other. You're in that stage of drunkenness where you want to cuddle everyone.
Yeah.
Even if you've got a machete, you're like, oh, come here, mate. You'll just need a cuddle to get the anger out of you. You know what I mean? I've done it. I've done it the other year when the first year I ever played this big punk festival. I won't say which one, but it's in the northwest, and I played it right. And I didn't know there were that many punks still about, or skinheads, because strangely enough, in the fucking outskirts of Bradford, you don't see a lot of skinheads walking by. It's not a normal thing, so I didn't even know there was any left. And I did this gig, right, and I've got this song called Prejudice to Wildlife, which is taking the piss out of racism by imagining how stupid it would be if animals were racist. Because people fall out over a difference in skin tone. But animals look totally different. I mean, what about octopuses? Are they not sat around going, fucking hedgehogs? They haven't even got tentacles, the cunts. They're all an housing benefit. I won't let our Denise marry a fucking hedgehog. Oi, Denise, stop texting that fucking hedgehog. And I thought, if animals were racist, they've got a lot more scope at it. You know, and it turned into this mad song. And I turns up off my head, and I met this Pakistani singer called Baba Luck. And he was the only cunt I could bond with in the whole place, because everyone else was a skinhead. Instantly, I'm thinking, because I was there in the 70s and the 80s. And basically, in the 70s, skinheads were cool. And they were into reggae, and they'd pass you a joint. And then in the 80s, they went a bit the other way. And I didn't know if these were 70s or 80s boys, if that makes sense. And I'm in this fucking place, I'm shitting it. I've never done a big punk thing. I didn't even know there were that many punks still alive. And I got put on there by Random Hand, which is another mutual friend of ours, isn't it? There's this band from Keighley called Random Hand, and they were a massive, like, ska punk band. They had a really big crowd. And I'd given away a CD outside a pub in Leeds accidentally to their manager. And he started booking me gigs. So I went from playing to 3 people at an open mic to playing to, like, fucking 300 17-year-old ska punk fans. And I'm like a 30-odd-year-old guy singing about weed, thinking they're not going to get this. But they did, and I ended up getting loads of gigs out of it. Anyway, so one year I'm on stage and I thought, I'm singing about the white supremacist polar bears. It's going down, everyone's laughing, no one's glassing me, nobody's stabbing me. I'm like, is this going grand? Everything's fine, even though the skinheads are all laughing. And then I thought, what band would they be listening to? White supremacist polar bears. And I was trying to remember the name of Screwdriver, which was a white supremacist band, right? And I've accidentally shouted out Cocksparrow, which they're not a white supremacist band at all. They're just a band minding their own fucking business. But my ticks have come up with a 3-syllable equivalent to Screwdriver of the wrong fucking band. So I shouted out Cocksparrow, but it gets a massive laugh. So I thought I must have said the right name, because I didn't know much about punk. I didn't know who was who. The only bit of punk I'm knowledgeable about is the late 70s, early 80s punk. By about 1982, I was bored of Oi, and I was bored of political punk. And the only punk that I still listen to is the Stranglers and the Buzzcocks. Stuff like things like the late 70s ones, you know, the Undertones, them kind of ones. I don't really listen to, like, fucking... Even though I've met them as people and they're all lovely, but I don't really listen to GBH or The Exploited. But in the early 80s, I was huffing glue out of a bag in a cemetery, listening to The Exploited, you know, like fucking, you know, when you have a mohawk and you want to fight a lamppost, that kind of era of punk, when you're just like, what fucking lamppost is a fascist. Anyway, but there's one thing and another, but memories of you, Jason, was once, right, I've done this gig in London and the venue's called a New Crossing. And it's the South East London venue where they tend to put on punk and ska if you're not massive enough to be in a massive venue. So we're outside, we're having the crack. And me and him were the joint pissest people on the world that day. I don't know what he'd had to drink, but I'd had everything I could get my hands on off everyone who had anything. And we were in the van just cuddling each other all the way to Hastings, and it was a really freezing cold night. It was one of those gigs just before Christmas,
Yeah, it was
like 21st of December or something like that. I mean, all the way there. And then I've got this one really sad song that I wrote. Well, I don't really write my songs; they write themselves when they're good and ready. And I've got one tragic song called "Hustler's Lament," and I put it on the stereo in the van. And me and him were doing that drunky man, sad. Happy, sad, drunky man, I love you, but I'm crying, but I'm not. I've just got a bit of onion on my face. You know, we were doing that kind of like, we're too mature to really cry, but we're a bit tearful. And the driver was just like that, I'm sober. You cunt. You emotional, drunken fucking drugged up knobhead. And they dropped me off in
hours.
Hastings. 3 hours from London to Hastings. It's just me and him having a love fest. Like, I love
That was
you.
it. That was in the New Cross Inn, did you say?
Yeah.
Actually, my friend is the new booker. I believe she's one of the bookers in that place.
I've
So she asked me to give a wee shout out if there's anyone looking for gigs, because I think she's starting to book just
You
now.
know what?
So
New Cross Inn, because I've played it. I've been in band. In films where there's a vampire.
I wrote Undercover Hippie or Duty Player, and there was a couple other bands I recognise. I had a wee look at their who else? Yeah, there was a few names I recognised on the bill, so it looks like a decent venue.
Cross Inn later in the year. There's some good stuff like just like
lined up, yeah.
Festivals and stuff lined up.
So if anyone is looking for a wee gig in London, give us a shout, because she's Lou. Her name is. She's booking acts just now. So
hey, I might sort one out, because I've got loads of mates
man,
on.
do you know what? She's brilliant. She left Glasgow to go to London to start becoming a booker, and then COVID happened.
Is she Glaswegian then, this lass?
No, I think she's American. I think she's American, but she lived in Glasgow for ages. She's sound.
Not that it matters.
She used to run a venue. You know, it was Drygate in Glasgow. She used to be the booker in there, but she moved to London to pursue the music industry career thing, and it was like 2 months before COVID happened. So she's just got a new job, I believe. I think that's the script anyway. But I'm going to bring on Victor Pope, actually, because Victor Pope's been here since 10 to 7.
Oh,
so,
get him on.
Get him on. I think you're going to get on if you don't know each other. Have you met before, actually?
I don't think so. Aye up, Victor.
Well, this is. You've both played similar. You've both played. What's the Eden stage called again?
Oh, the Melodrome.
The Melodrome. You played the Melodrome as well.
Oh, we might have met each other then. We could well have.
All right, you didn't play Melodrome, did you?
Oh,
you went quiet.
Mark, I don't know why, but I can't hear Victor.
I can't hear him either. I can't hear you, man. I can't hear you. I'm going to mute you and unmute you and see if that works. Could you give us a 1 2 1 2? A 1 2, buckle my shoe. Nah. 1 2 1 2. No sound coming in, man. Check your audio settings, mate. You've just went quiet. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Rory will be. While we're waiting, because we are running a bit late now, as you would expect. It's the Captain Hotknives open mic night.
Sorry.
Rory, that is a great hat.
I know, I love it. I found it today, and I thought I saw you were in like a tent. I thought I'd get like in the festival mode.
Yeah, festival vibes.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful sunset, man.
Hey, I can hear you now, Victor.
Victor Pope, can you give us a 1 2?
Sorry, Rory.
That's it.
Victor Pope, can you give us a 1 2 1 2, buckle my shoe? Just log out and back in. I think this is an internet issue. I think it's an internet issue. We'll try again. Just come back in, man. I don't know what's happening there. Victor Pope. So this is Rory O.B. Okay, so Rory O.B. This is Jason. This is
Hello.
Captain Hotknives.
Hey up, Rory, man.
How you doing?
Where did you find that hat?
What's that? I don't know. I found it in my house.
That's class. That looks like one of the Stone Roses. Was just wandering past earlier on, and he was like that. Oh man!
Well, Rory's a great singer-songwriter. He's also a rapper. He also used to be in a band called Busker Rhymes that were a bit of a hit on the festival circuit as well. They did some good stuff, which I believe are in hiatus just now, but you never say never, one of the ones. And Rory is, I think, has got some new stuff for us, because he's got a new EP coming out soon. But I believe you're going to bring back an old tune, as I requested this old tune, because I just thought this would be right up your street. So I thought, could you bring back the Job Centre song? Is it actually called the Job Centre song?
It's called the Job Centre song. Yeah, I wrote it I think maybe about 6 years ago or something, when I was unemployed, as a protest song against the job centre.
It's a pop hit. It's a pop sensation.
Fuck the Job Centre.
No, it's pro Job Centre. It's a pro Job Centre song, I believe. Aren't they doing such a wonderful job? Well, you can make your own mind up. You can make Rory, take it away. Take it away.
Okay, hang on, I need to
Go for it.
All right, sorry.
So I need to just do this 2 seconds. Okay. Oh, can you hear my guitar okay? Oh, okay.
Is a wee sound check, man. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounding great, man.
I've tried to get a job, but the woman down the job centre, she doesn't help a lot. What I got in my bank from Universal Credit's wrong. The only option I think I've got left in offence is against the law. It's against the law. I've been skinned for the past 4 months or so. I left my last job thinking life would be wonderful. I wanted more than just 5-hour shifts. And ignorant punters and made my eyebrows dip. The guy in the tie spout shit to keep us in line. Told me to mop the floor for the 6th time. Well, I can multitask, not for 700 a month. So I just said for some of them. Stayed under the thumb, dumpty-dum. My passion's for music, cause that's what diffuses. My anger to do flip my lid. Helps me keep anxiety at bay. Leave a mark with the phrase like an iron to the face. I got higher in the haze of the fire that I spray. Inspired by the way life is tied in the crate. Something much, much better than the lack of rewards. Being treated like a prick by a wank of a boss is sure loss. I tried to get a job, but the woman down the job centre, she doesn't help a lot. What I got in my bank from Universal Credit's wrong. The only option I think I've got left in offence is against the law. It's against the law. My dignity got sanctioned, it got depressed. Not as much as I was when I worked a shitty job in Greg's. Workers at the job centre, they're condescending. I don't receive as much from them as what I'm spending. Can't afford the cost of eating. I try to make a living off of music and it's only booze that I get paid in. I'm raging, best on cheap cider, saying things are bottled up. Open the door and the fire's escaping. I'm educated and treated procrastination. My talent is fading out like a sound of a task that I have failed in. By the way, I'll remain in a passive phase till I wake up in the sun-filled dawn of a brand new day. Drive the same, just feel unfulfilled, tapping cash left, right and centre, and I'm hungry still. Rumbling stills, fall over at the last hurdle, try to get the prize in the rat race and I struggled. Tried to get a job, but the woman down the job centre, she doesn't help a lot. What I got in my bank from Universal Credit's wrong. The only option I think I've got left in offence is against the law. Oh. Sorry. I've tried to get a job, but the woman down the job centre, she doesn't help a lot. What I got in my bank from Universal Credit's wrong. The only option I think I've got left in offence is against the law. It's against the law.
Yes.
So I dropped my plectrum like halfway through that.
Sorry.
I saw that, but you dropped it, but you didn't even let it kill the song. You were straight on.
You just kept going. You just kept going.
And your lyrics are fucking mint. Also, how can you remember so many words or even know that many words?
Yeah, but that's really old. I forgot them all and had to write them all down to remember.
That was fucking quality. That plectrum thing. Fuck the plectrum.
Yeah, yeah.
Back it out of the band.
Yeah.
Get a better one. Gaffer tape it to your hand.
Yeah, gaffer tape to my fingers. Rory plectrum.
Let me just see if Victor Pope can hear us. Victor Pope.
Am I here?
Yeah. Yes, you are here.
Hey!
Yes.
I fucking hate computers, I really do.
Good stuff. Right, guys, I'm just going to try a quick thing because I noticed that it was fine, but I noticed that it was getting a little bit freezy. So there's a thing that I can do, but it might just make us it might make me disappear for a split second, but it will boost the internet. It's so this is on. So I need to turn this off, and then so I might just cut off for a second, but it will mean that the internet will work better as a result, and then we can get on with the show. So let's see if this is on or not. Okay, so we've got to turn that off and disconnect. I'm back. Okay, I think we're okay. Is everyone okay? Everyone okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on,
Right, that should just make it a bit smoother. Rebecca Radical saying, loved that. Round of applause. And I love Rory B says, Petra.
Cool.
Aljo Tartan says, sorry guys, need to dash. The green has landed. Big love, Chris and Mark. And also, you should all get up to the bungalow in Paisley. Punk and ska heavy, dare you?
I'm up for that. I've got a Paisley.
Go to Paisley. I've never actually played the bungalow, but many of my friends have. I've just not had the invite. If that's an invite, I'm up for it.
Paisley.
So cool.
Paisley, recorded Paisley Park.
Sorry, hold on 2 seconds. There's a bit of an echo. I'm going to mute Victor Pope while he's not talking because there's an echo coming through coming through him. Sorry, what did you say about Paisley Park? Sorry.
I was just saying to Jason, does he want to come and play a gig in Paisley in the future with us?
Would you?
I'm up for playing in Paisley. Rory, would you play in Paisley?
Definitely.
Right. I've been to Paisley, but not since like the early 90s. I used to go out in Glasgow from about 1987 till about 1993. I think there was a club, I think it might have been called The Tunnel. Was there something called
The Tunnel?
Yeah. And it was very kind of small and it had the massive sound system in the world. And pills were the strongest and most expensivest they'd ever been. And they were like 15 and 20 quid pill, but you'd have half of one and you'd wake up cuddling a policeman. You'd be like that. Oh, come on, mate. I love you. Can I touch your trunk? Got any water? You know, it was fucking. So those late 80s, early 90s, I was living in Scotland, and I'd love to come and do a gig in Paisley if somebody's got a gig for us to do.
Well, it looks like that was an invite. I don't know if that was from
Jason. Come with us. Come and do
Paisley.
It. Rory, come with us. Victor, come with us. Let's all go there for the crack.
Let's do it. I'm up for
My
it.
joke about Paisley was this, Mark. My little Paisley joke was that's where Prince recorded Paisley Park.
Oh, right, okay, got you.
In the park.
Well, it's actually because it's next to Glasgow Central. There's an old saying. You're talking about spontaneous ejaculation. If you don't want to get someone pregnant, it's called getting off at Paisley.
All right,
you remove just in time. Remove yourself from the situation just in time. It's called getting off at Paisley.
Do you know my version of that, Mark? Right? If I'm ever sort of having a ride which might lead to a baby, and I think I better not have a baby because I'm a fucking disabled nutcase, I'm a liability to my own self, I'd be the shittiest dad in the world. Like if I was a dad and my kid said, "What's for tea?" I'd be like that. Rizzlers. You know what I mean? So I thought better not have any babies, but if I'm close to the point of having a baby with someone, do you know what I do to take away the ejaculation? I momentarily picture Mrs. Thatcher. And that's it. You're done. You can't come then. It's just like, oh. In fact, I've had women fall out with me because I had to think about Mrs. Thatcher at that moment. And then they thought I meant it about them. It's just like, no, Mrs. Thatcher kills any chance of ejaculation, believe me. Especially for my generation.
Captain Hotknives version of getting off at Paisley.
Yeah.
Getting off with Maggie Thatcher. I've got to bring Victor Pope into this conversation quickly. I know, Rory, you've still got another song. But
yeah, I've got my headphones on.
What I want to do is just make sure that the sound's okay for you. So if you want to just give us a song, Victor Pope, and then if there's any issues, then we can solve that while Rory plays his song.
Right, okay. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you sounding good. It's actually sounding good.
Right. Yeah, I've got the headphones on. I think that's a problem. Right, okay, off we go. Right. Life is a pearly futile endeavor. It's just something to do. I'm pantomimed to distract from our inevitable demise. I've got my misunderstanding growing through. But every once in a while, there's a wormy meander down a brightly lit, winding country lane, and for a woman difficult, I can make it better. So fill up your cup until it's full, and put on your best pair of pants. And when you hear that sweet rock and roll music, be sure to dance, dance, dance. Cause we're all animals after all, slaves to our natural urges. And any attempt to be more than human being is like a two-legged man in a one-horse race virtually worthless. So if you fancy tagging along and making the most of my many imperfections, I'll be sure to put the kettle on and up the best as my record collection. Whether you're a lion or a lamb, a wolf or a walrus, if you can take time to laugh at yourself, I'll consider you one of us. So pick yourself up in the doldrums, or wallow there all day long. But whatever you do, do it like you mean it, and then you'll appreciate the fun of real hip hop. So here's a shout out to all the earthlings, from Boundary Reaches to Timbuktu. If you have the time for me, then I've got time for you. There you go. That's that.
Excellent
Hello,
stuff.
Down at the back. That was that.
Amazing stuff. We've still got Jason here. We've still got Rory OB here. And yeah, amazing, man. It's sounding good. We've got some comments coming in. There's a few people later. I think a few people are behind with the times. And the captain. There you are there. Victor Pope, you have new music. Tell the people how they can get that music.
On the Bandcamp, we've got the Victor Port Band has currently released a new album. It's just fresh hot off the press, called The Theory of Being Nice, First Sequence. And that's available on the Victor Port Band Bandcamp. What is it? The Victor Port Band.bandcamp.com. And it's soon coming on Spotify and all that crap on Saturday. There it is. Yep, there it is. Yep, there you go. And it's that's I just played the last song on the album. There it is, and then we're getting on Spotify on a week on Saturday. I think we're on Spotify and all the other stuff, iTunes and all that nonsense. But I just wanted to this gig. But it was the first ever gig I ever put on. It was called. Well, there's the camera. George Martin Can Suck Cocks in Hell. And if you see, the headline act was Captain Hotknives.
Oh, wow.
Billed as the funniest musician who ever lived in the Fenton at Leeds. I don't know if you remember the Fenton in Leeds. Yeah, that was the first gig I ever put on, and you were the headline act. It was a good gig. That was a good night.
I thought you looked a bit familiar, and I thought you didn't sound Scottish. I thought everyone that was on the show was Scottish except me.
No, I
moved to Edinburgh. I'm Scottish now.
Oh, right, yeah. That was you that put the gig on at the Fenton.
Yeah, the gig at the Fenton.
Did you used to live in Leeds then?
Yeah, I used to live in Leeds. Yeah.
Oh man, what my mate George calls Leeds. He always goes Leeds, string of beads, LSD and 2 E's. Because it is in the word Leeds, there's LSD and 2 E's.
All right, yeah, that's right. Yeah, cool. That's quite clever.
No, I remember those Fenton gigs, and I tell you what, the Fenton is the only venue where I've come to do a gig and been thrown out of 2 of my own gigs before it even started.
Well, I was actually trying to get myself thrown out of that gig because I thought it'd be funny if it was the first ever gig I ever put on and I got thrown out of it. So I burned an effigy of George Martin in an attempt to get thrown out and to set the place alight, but it didn't quite work.
It's quite hard to get thrown out of the Fenton.
It is, yeah. They just laughed at me and thought it was quite charming.
It's quite hard to get paid in Leeds, I found. We played Leeds once and the guy tried to pay us in 2 E's in Leeds. That's what they tried to pay us. 2 E's, and we drove all the way from Knockengorrick for a gig. And we had to go back to Knockengorrick.
Mark,
there's a couple of E's, mate.
Mark,
cheers, pal.
Can I just say, right? I was born in Keighley, right, which is a small town on the outskirts of Bradford. But my dad's from an estate in Bradford. I've grown up around Bradford, but I've lived in Leeds a couple of times. But Bradford and Leeds are a bit like, look at it this way. You know how it's Newcastle and Sunderland? Like Newcastle's maybe got a bit of a bigger football team, a bit more money, a bit more investment. Sunderland's a bit more gone under, a bit rougher. And Leeds and Bradford are kind of like that. Leeds is like, we've got really nice shops. You know what I mean? And Bradford's like, well, everything's on fire, mate. You've got a shop. How do you stop that burning, you cunt? We're just like, the thing is, in
not like Edinburgh and Glasgow, kind of.
Yeah, it is similar. It's similar. Like I used to live in Scotland for a few years.
It says it all that you can drink outside in Edinburgh and you can't anywhere else in Scotland.
Not anymore. No, it's not.
Yeah, I know, and I see you've all been moaning about it on the internet. Everyone in Edinburgh's been going, oh, you can't drink outside, and it's like, welcome to the real world. Welcome to Scotland.
Do you know when you said the words getting paid and the city of Leeds in the same sentence, I was quite surprised to hear them together.
Yeah.
I've got an old saying about what's the difference between Bradford and Leeds, right? In Leeds, they stab you in the back. In Bradford, we stab you in the fucking front. We tell you why we stabbed you. Then we ring the ambulance. Then we roll you a joint and then we gnash off in a car.
It's like that time Glasgow was voted friendliest city in Europe and also the stab capital of the world.
Yeah. You see, yeah.
Are you about to play a song, Captain Hotknives?
I could do. But if anyone else wants to, I'm happy to.
I think we've got Rory. I kind of interrupted Rory's set, so I feel like Rory's got something.
Get Rory back on. He's fucking.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do two for Rory, two from Victor Pope, and then it's Captain Hotknives time. We've also got Rebecca Radical's going to join us soon, and Petra's going to join us soon too as well. So if guys, if you want to click the link to get in the green room, to get backstage, that'd be brilliant. So Rory, you've got two tunes for us, is that right?
Yeah, I've got two more, yeah.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, sure. This is called Carry On. I've got a really rubbish cap on. Okay. I hope I eventually find my way home through all the second-hand fag smoke from the loud people hanging out the front of the entrances to the pub. Glasgow in the summer, sorry, I suppose. Beer garden in the sun, full of people, pints flowing like the snow. I notice when the day's finished up. I wish they never ended all in a vortex of tenants and festival stalls. Look for any excuse to get me involved. Swear now, all my worries, I'm not anxious at all. And if I fuck it all up, then I am in the fault. I blame it all on being young and just carry on. Just carry on. We have a tendency to turn to creatures of the night, but whenever we see the sun, red shirts, red skin, the flakes from our backs. We'd stand in the shade with 3 litres, shouting slurs of passers-by, telling us to speak clearer. We try. We've had too much to drink and we can't. I wish that I never got into this mess, waking up on someone's couch I've only just met. Look for any excuse to leave and I'm off. Not quite sure what was going on in my head, but now it's filled with existential dread. Thank fuck I'm still young, I can just carry on. I can just carry on. And will you stay with me tonight to make sure I don't put my life at risk by doing something daft? When all my friends and I collide, we make explosions in the night and hope these moments never pass. And will you stay with me tonight to make sure I don't put my life at risk by doing something daft? When all my friends and I collide, we make explosions in the night and hope these moments never pass. I hope I eventually find my way home through all the good vibes that seem to be prone to getting caught in, but I know I should just carry on. I should just carry on.
Yes,
Thank
go
you.
on, man. Quality.
Thank you.
Quality, man.
Thank you. 2 seconds. Just need to take my harmonica off.
We should do this lineup as a house party tour. Well, we could. Jason could have us on in Hastings. You could have us on where you live. You could have us on in Edinburgh. I can put us on in Bradford.
Yeah.
And then
That's good,
we're all quite simple. We've only got acoustic instruments.
Yeah.
If you came to my house,
I've
you
got a
wouldn't
band,
even.
though. I've got a band.
You've got a full band, but you could still get in a
Yeah.
van. Do you want to come and play the one?
Yeah.
Do you want to come and play at the 1 in 12 club in Bradford with this lineup?
Aye.
When it opens.
Really?
I mean, we can't
I
play
haven't,
a
I
date,
haven't
but
played
when
the
it
1 in
opens.
12 in
Definitely.
years. Last time
Go
I was
on
there
then.
was
Shall we
4
do?
years
Shall we
ago.
do a gig at the 1 in 12 with this lineup?
Aye.
Yeah, man.
And also any other guests that come on the show.
1 in 12. So it's
It's a
great
legend.
venue. It's a great venue.
It's a legend. Even the rats are fucking anarchists on that street.
I know.
They're the most well-educated rats I've ever fucking woke up next to. Rats come up to you outside the 1 in 12, and they've just eaten Das Kapital. And they're just like really wise. They're coming up to you. Are you one of the lumpen proletariat, my friend? You're like, fuck. Sorry, Rory. Carry on.
Yeah.
This tune's this a bit more of a downbeat one. This is called Rose Tinted Beer Goggles.
Stare into a sunset like the abyss, and hope this doesn't end. Enshrined inside a moment of bliss, I'm trapped behind the steering wheel, approaching the bend. We reached out to grab the last few minutes left of the summertime, in denial as the autumn leaves fall. These tears are freezing to our cheeks. Are they tears of happiness, or do we mourn the times that we lost? That we lost. With dilated eyes and smiles that glazed over our faces, so sad that we hide from the crowd. We're living life to the fullest, and we never get sad. Only ever feel sad when there's no one else around. 'Cause this was all over nothing. We promised each other this would never end. And as we lay in the sand, no recollection of yesterday, holding you tight with both hands, it got harder and harder to hold on. Yeah. Ooh. One day we'll look back on these times and laugh through a pair of rose tinted beer goggles. Remember good times, we'll just forget the bad. Get drunk on nostalgia, lay to rest the past. 'Cause this was all over nothing. We promised each other this would never end. And as we lay in the sand, no recollection of yesterday, holding you tight with both hands. 'Cause this was all over nothing. Let's be honest for once and come to terms with the end. 'Cause as you push me away, vague recollections of yesterday force me to understand. It got harder and harder to hold on. It got harder and harder to hold on. It got harder and harder to hold on. It got harder and harder to hold on.
Thank you.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale. We see the crimes of this government, how they support every dictator and criminal on this earth. Sometimes you can feel dead.
Yes, Rory OB. Smashed it.
Thank you.
Rory.
Thank you.
Rory, how can the people hear more Rory OB?
I'm actually, well, me and my new band, the Romanas, are due to release an EP soon. We've not got like a release date, but it's all completed and everything. We just need to wait for some stuff to happen, then we'll be releasing it. I've also just recorded a solo EP that was Becca Starr did a lot of work with me on as well. So that'll be out like the month after. That's called The Sun Will Rise. So that will be out very soon, basically. That'll be on Bandcamp, Spotify, you name it.
And there's a rumour that you might be appearing in the Secret Animal Garden Party a week tonight.
Yes.
Which we're all very excited about. It's a very special show for Tam in memory of Kyle that we've been working hard on behind the scenes over the last few days, and it's going to be amazing. So do set your reminders for that one this time next week. It's going to be a belter. So also I've got to say, man, that line about holding on, I love how you held the note for longer than I thought you were going to be able to do it. How much practice?
Quite a lot of practice.
That was a good hold, though. That was a good hold. Captain Hotknives, what are you making of Rory OB?
Fucking quality, man.
Thank you.
I was a bit like, oh. you know that rabbit? There's a rabbit. Have you ever been forced to watch that old cartoon, Watership Down?
Yeah, that's like really
And there's
brutal.
this rabbit.
I don't know how they got away with that, man. It just kind of scarred everyone's childhood.
That film was basically quite child abuse, wasn't it? Making you still do that, so go home and have a fucking. You'd go home and you'd be eating a Findus crispy pancake, going
Bambi as well.
What have I just seen? The thing is, what my reference to Watership Down is, I'm a bit like that rabbit called Fiver.
Mm-hmm.
And he has.
It's called Fiver. Was the rabbit called Fiver?
Yeah, and he has seizures, and he's always.
What, Fiver? Am I hearing this wrong? Fiver as in like a £5 note?
Yeah, Fiver. And
Fiver the rabbit.
And he's the one. Listen, he's the one that goes all the time. Bigwig, I smell danger in this place. He's always anxious. He's always anxious to fuck.
Well, that's usually. I was listening to your last Fiver.
I was listening to Rory then, and I was just like thinking, I'm free of anxiety at this minute. This music's got me, took me on a mission. So I think that's really beautiful and should be fucking applauded to fuck.
That means a lot. Victor Pope, have you met Rory in the festival scene before? Have you bumped into each other before?
I don't know. I just don't recognise his face.
Yeah. Kind of.
Have we met?
You would
Have we met?
have bumped into each other,
Yeah,
definitely,
probably
man.
bumped into each other at some point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe about 4 a.m.
Probably,
with a
but yeah,
campfire or
usually
something
in
like that.
states. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not
Some
sober
nice
for long
comments
at
coming
festival.
in. Nice voice, Rory says Ali Grant. Yeah, says
Thank
Sharon, the patriarchy Drysdale. And by the way, Sharon actually said a really nice message to you earlier on. It said, where is it? It said that, Captain, you've kept me going. Thanks for the friendship. You're a legend.
Thank you for fucking your friendship. It's not me keeping you going, it's you keeping me going as well. Do you know what I mean? This has been the weirdest year of everybody's life, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been a strange
Fucking
one.
I've been whatever personally, I've
had worse years personally, but it's definitely been the strangest, man. There's no doubt about it.
And it's put us all into this weird thing where I've never literally, even when I used to be I was in the psychiatric hospitals in the 90s, and they'd put you into isolation if you had a fight or something, but only for like about 2 nights or something. But like the first bit of COVID, because I got so sick, I didn't have any contact with any people except by a text or phone for 6 months, except for somebody putting food into my yard and then fucking off, and me going in the yard and bringing the food in the house for 6 months. That's never happened to me or any of us before, has it? And I was thinking up to nearly die, but I couldn't even talk to nobody or cuddle anybody. So, you know, what I'm sensing now is we're a month or 2 away from being able to actually have the crack and be in the same room with each other and go, come on, drink loads of cans and chat loads of bollocks for many days until we just do it all again because we can. And one thing it's going to make me think is never knock back anything, because like we've just had a year of nothing.
Yeah.
Won it. And it's not anybody's fault, and it's not.
What was he called it? The no crackalips?
No crackalips.
The no crackalips.
I don't know if that's even my word. I think that might have been my mate from Cork who said that, but no crackalips kind of summed it up.
Fiver the Hairy Biker. There's a song, Captain. Do you want to do a song called Fiver the Hairy Biker, and then we'll get Victor Pope on after that?
I love having a challenge to make up a song. It's far.
Okay, it's called Fiver the Hairy Biker. Take it away, Captain.
There was a biker, his name was Fiver. He was hairy, he was a survivor, but he was anxious all the time. Being very anxious was his crime. He was so anxious he overthought everything. He couldn't even go to the pub without drinking several cans. He had social anxiety, man. So when he got to the pub that night, his mate said, you look fucking shite. We gave you something to cheer you up right now. They took him outside to meet another biker. The other biker was called Cheap Biker Speed Mick. Cheap Biker Speed Mick, Cheap Biker Speed Mick, Cheap Biker Speed Mick. Predictably, he had some cheap biker speed. They gave it to the lad who was anxious, as if that might be what he might need. It didn't really help the situation. In fact, it made it worse. And Fiver, the hairy biker, he started to wobble and curse. He said, "Bigwig, I smell danger in this place." Fiver, the hairy biker, he always wanted a fiver. He never wanted even an eighth or a quarter or a half ounce. He was the most annoying cunt when he tried to score some weed, 'cause all he'd ever part with was a fiver for what he needed. And every dealer in the land hated him. He was a twat, asking for a fiver's worth like that, usually at 3 o'clock in the fucking morning. Even then he wanted it on tick. Fucking got it off Bike Speed Mick. Got his speed off Bike Speed Mick. Cheap Bike Speed Mick. He was the most anxious biker in the world, but then he smoked some opium and he sat on the sofa and he went, hey. Yeah, I feel a bit tired. That's the end.
Captain Hotknives.
I did my best with that.
That was good.
That was
Brilliant.
Fiverr, the thingy guy that wanted a song about.
That was Mark Fiverr, the hairy biker, and he says, "Brilliant. What can you say? What can you say exactly?" Sharon was enjoying that. Victor Pope is in the house. Victor Pope, you're next.
Oh, right. Okay.
I believe you've got a couple of songs for us.
Oh,
cool. Okay. Right. I'll give it a go. Right. Right. I'll do this one then. I was playing it today. It's a bit but anyway. Let's see what you think. Right. 1, 2, 3. Sympathy shy, sympathy shy. I'm holding out for a sympathy shy. Sympathy shy, sympathy shy. I'm holding out for a sympathy shy. I hate myself and I'm very, very lonely. You're so beautiful, why don't you phone me? I want to tell you all about the problems I have. All the unresolved issues with my mom and dad. Maybe we can write sad poetry, eat ice cream and watch TV. You can hold and comfort me. We'll be happy, wait and see. Sympathy shy, sympathy shy. I'm feeling out for sympathy shy. Sympathy shy, sympathy shy. I'm holding out for sympathy shy. I don't want to have sex with you, not unless you want me to. I have problems down below. There's something that you should know. I've never been in love. Maybe you can help with that. I know that you're lost from that. You can fix me just like that. Sympathy shy, I'm waiting out for sympathy shy. Sympathy shy, I'm waiting out for sympathy shy. While everything to me, just make sympathy. Tell me everything's alright. Tie ourselves to sleep at night. I'm holding out for sunshine. Shine, I'm holding out for sunshine. Shine, I'm holding out for sunshine. Shine, I'm holding out for sunshine. Right.
Strange mood of our time.
You call that radio?
Makes coherent sense.
We're live. She called that radio, TV, and we've got the Sympathy Shag of Victor Pope there. Absolutely great. We've got comments coming in. I'm dancing to Sympathy Shag, says Sharon the Patriarchy Drysdale.
Alright, nice.
She's not really the patriarchy, by the way. She's just because she told me to smile. But the thing is that I'm not used to, like, normally when I'm interviewing someone, I have them on the big screen because I'm trying to keep an eye on the comments and do things at once, but I know that it's better for you, Chris, to have the chat, the crack.
Well,
so sometimes I don't know what my face is doing. If I'm listening to a story, it doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it.
Do you know what? Don't let yourself think about it.
I'm not even thinking about it, because normally I just make the person full screen when I'm interviewing them. So while they're talking,
well, do you know what?
I don't need to worry about my face.
When I do a song, you can put us full screen, and then you can catch up on all the other bits that you want. Because I've got used to this now. It was just the other month. It felt like I was singing on my own, but I know I'm not, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I know exactly.
It's been a surreal year. I didn't have even anyone come into my house for about a year.
I quite like though. I do quite like the.
I like the reaction and the interaction.
Yeah, I like it as well. I do like it.
I start doing a song, have a little break from you being on the screen, and I can handle it now, Mark. I've had enough alcohol.
Well, we've got another guest lined up in the green room.
I'd like to.
I think we've still got another song from Victor Pope to come, but I'm going to bring her on just now because she's on the bucky, so I'm just going to see how she's doing. Rebecca Radical, how you doing?
Hello, how you doing?
All right.
I think Rebecca Radical, you already know Captain Hotknives. I'm not. Do you know Victor
I do.
Pope? You do. You know everyone. Brilliant.
I'm going to play my Buckfast song in honour of Captain Hotnight.
Okay, well, what we'll do is, if sorry about you, Rebecca, I'm going to get Victor Pope to play one more song because I don't actually know if he's got stuff to do, but he's been here.
I would like to get some beer before the shop shuts.
All right, okay. Oh shit, you better go quick then.
I've been totally about beer for the whole thing.
There's a little bit of feedback in your voice there just now, man. I don't know if towards the end, the sympathy shag actually added to the sound because it's just like a kind of sort of an effect.
Just go
with it, man. It sounds quite good. It doesn't sound bad at all. It's actually good.
Okay, right, we'll go with it. Right. Shall I do my last song?
Yes, Victor Pope, and I'll bring the Bandcamp on the screen for people who want to check out more Victor Pope, which I would recommend that you do. I met Victor Pope randomly at Edinburgh Fringe. I told the story the last time you were on, but in case people didn't catch that, I was Edinburgh Fringe. Me and Joe were supposed to be heading home after a long weekend in Edinburgh, and then we got handed a flyer. I think it might have been yourself that handed us a flyer. And it was such a great name of the EP. What was it? Gradually more.
The Infinite Delusions. What was it? The second one, the Infinitely More Deluded.
Infinitely More Deluded. And as soon as I seen that in a flyer, I went, I've got to see this. And we went, and it was an amazing show. And then it turned out, by in a weird turn of events, that we shared the same synth player as well.
Yeah, she still plays.
Dr. Jazzlan. Well, Dr. Jazzlan is coming back to Jackal Trades next week. I hear.
I understand. She is. Yeah.
So she's coming back up to Scotland, and looking forward to getting a wee jam with her next week. And just a wee shout outs to that gig actually for anyone who's not aware of it already. It's going to be taking place in Immersive TV. It's all the money goes to Refugee and Sonny G. It's Steg G, Freestyle Master Soul Right, Impress CCTV. They guys are the guys that made this album that I'm wearing. Live Today.
Okay.
Live Today. It's an amazing album. It's a concept album.
Is that the tune that Empress is on?
Sorry?
Is that the tune that Empress is on? The album that Empress is on?
Yeah, Empress is on all over the album. It's like it's the second album that they've all done together, and she's like a character in it. What they do is amazing. So we've got that. Dope Sick Fly, Loki, Becky Walsh, The Girl Cried Wolf, and Jackal Trades will be live in real time. It's £8 if you want to just watch it like you're watching this just now, or you can pay a tenner and you can actually be in a wall of Zoom calls so we can actually see you reacting to us in real time, and you can heckle us or whatever if you want as well. So looking forward to that one. That's next Friday, and it will be Jackal Trades' first full band gig since 2018. But now I've got that plug out the way. It's not all about me. It's about the Victor Pope Band.
It's all about me.
It's all about you, mate. The Victor Pope Band. .bandcamp.com if you're enjoying the tunes, and take it away, man.
Right. Okay. Here we go. Are there losers? Are there winners? Did Jamie Oliver save school dinners? Are we absolute beginners? Is it all just smoke and mirrors, 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 mirrors? Is it all just smoke and mirrors, 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 mirrors? Is the president a phony? Is a lazy boy more cozy? Do all young girls want a pony? Who is Tony Macaroni? Does a job make you more happy? Should I teach myself karate? Is the new Star Wars film crappy? Whatever happened to Dappy? Is Kendrick Lamar a genius? What is this distance between us? Which dictator is the meanest? Who has got the smallest penis? Is there an excuse for war? What are all the speed bumps for? Who is behind the green door? Need I say anything more? Will there be a resolution? Do we need a constitution? Is recycling the solution? Is cancer caused by evolution? What's the deal with 9/11? Good people go to heaven. If the devil is 6 and is God 7, what should we do about Kevin? Is my McIntyre funny? Is there such a thing as money? Without bees will there be honey? Is Philadelphia always sunny? What is right and what is wrong? Where have all the flowers gone? Where do all the lonely people belong? What's your karaoke song? Are there losers? Are there winners? Did Jamie all in the same school dinners? Are we absolute beginners? Is it all just smoke and mirrors? Mirrors, 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 mirrors. Is it all just smoke and mirrors? Mirrors, 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 mirrors. Is it selfish to be an artist? What makes the noise of the TARDIS? Which scientist is the smartest? Why did I even get started? What's the Mona Lisa thinking? Should I cut back on my drinking? Something in your eye or winking? Is this shit we're all on sinking? Is my poetry pretentious? Is our universe endless? Is that traffic warden friendless? Is this questioning relentless? Is there such a thing as love? Why it's not been good enough? You made living so damn tough. Will I wind up sleeping rough? Is there rhyme and is there reason? Why are there only 4 seasons? Are you still much more high treason? Categorized from how well seasoned? Which star has the most cash? What did I do in my stash? How is Santa in a class? What makes Santa move so fast? Are we using too much plastic? Is the death sentence too drastic? How strong is Nicker elastic? Is Liam Gallagher past it? Political correctness, the way forward or madness? Is this Brexit thing a mess? Could I even care less? Are there losers? Are there winners? Did Jamie Oliver save school dinners? Are we absolute beginners? Is it all just smoke and mirrors, 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 mirrors? Is it all just smoke and mirrors, 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 mirrors? Is it all just smoke and mirrors? There you go, that's that.
Strange mood of our time.
You call that radio?
Fucking radio. Here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow.
You call that radio?
However you want to see it.
You call that radio?
You call that radio?
However you want to say it, that's kind of part of the fun.
Powered by our patrons.
Brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters.
We are indeed powered by our Patreons. Thanks to everyone who supports us at patreon.com/you call that radio. That means that we can do these live streams. It means that we can do the audio podcast, which there's another new one out today with Martin Youth Glover, the legend. That's out now on Spotify, Apple, and all the usual podcast places. We also do events. We do blogs at youcallthat.com, and it's just not possible without everyone who supports it. So if you enjoy any of the stuff that we do, then you can geese £1 at paypal.me/you call that radio, or you can sign up to the Patreon, which means you get bonus material and giveaways. We like a raffle. We like a wee raffle every now and then. We just watched Victor Pope absolutely smash it. What a tune. What a fucking tune, man.
Yeah, no, I like that one. We sent off to some bloggers and they quite liked it, so we might, you never know,
Well, remind me next.
We've done a video for it. I've done a video for it as well.
Amazing, man.
It'll be coming out in a couple of weeks.
I'm doing my weekly reviews just now, but I didn't do one last week because we were filming all day, so I normally do it the Friday afternoon. But I think I might be able to do it this Friday. No, I won't be able to do it. Next week, I'm having a week off. I'm shooting a music video for the new Jackal Trades one this Friday as well. But send me it over, remind me, and I'll add it to the next one, man, because that's a tune.
Wicked, I'll definitely do that. Right, yeah, cool. I've got to go now because I really need beer. I've done this whole thing without beer.
Feel free to pop back in once you've got yourself some beer.
Yeah, I'll pop back up.
No worries, man.
Okay, cheers.
Great stuff. Victor Pope, ladies and gentlemen.
That was good. I enjoyed that.
Did you enjoy that? It's amazing. It was really good. Someone saying, please don't talk about Jamie Oliver. Come on. Come on. You're no sticking up for Jamie Oliver.
You're never going to let that guy live it down, mate. Turkey Twizzlers.
We've got Mark McInnes saying, Victor, don't forget your beers. Yeah, quite right. It's a good excuse.
Shop, man. He needs to get to the shop.
All right, yeah, pure belter, says Becky Wallace. Nice haircut. Thank you. Well, Becky, you left. Well, you were still playing, I think, when I went away for my haircut on Friday. So I think the first half of the show I've got with the long hair, and then I had to get it cut, man, before they make haircuts illegal again. Last time I was like, I'll just get I wasn't bothered in December. I was like, I'll get it cut in January, but then obviously it was made illegal to get a haircut again.
Yeah, man. Can you wait till they legalise it outside?
Legalise outside.
Hashtag legalise outside.
I think they're going to legalise it. I think we've got to enjoy it while we can, because I don't know. Who knows? Fingers crossed. I'm feeling positive today, though. It's great news that we're going to be able to play in a venue in social distancing, but at least that's better than no gigs.
Something to work with, eh?
It's something to work with. That is somewhere to go. At least just somewhere to go. Darren says it makes you look 50 years younger. I don't know what that means. Rebecca, I find Jamie very patronising. No, that's fine. Okay, I get you. So you hate Jamie Oliver, right? That's fine. I just really surprised that you'd be sticking up for Jamie Oliver. Of all the things we've said in these shows, you're suddenly. I thought you were offended by anyone slagging Jamie Oliver, and I don't think he did save school dinners. I don't think he did in the end of his answer to the question that Victor posed earlier on. Becky, feel free to jump on for a tune if you want. It is the Captain Hotknives open mic night.
I'll be honest, I have had a bottle and a half of Buckfast a day. So.
But you're going to do a song about Buckfast, I believe.
I feel like I have to do a Buckfast song, in fact, in front of Captain Hotknives, man.
I think
take it away.
It should happen.
Okay.
You have to do the song so much that your pal's passed out 3 times on Buckfast already since we started talking.
Yes. Monotonic. Right, this song's about Buckfast. Heroes person, Buckfast, I'm ready for the night. I plan on getting steaming. I'm gonna be some say. I just knew in my ear that I need a love. Tonight, my dear, I'm gonna be a tonic. I just wanna get there. Buckfast faces. Just wanna get there. Buckfast faces. Things on its way. There's a pile on isolated. Cracked into all those light. I just want, Oh, mate, the snorting at the end. Come on.
Strange mood about
You call that radio.
makes coherent sense.
Amazing
Oh,
stuff.
that was quality. Fucking hell.
Mate, I've actually no voice at the moment. I lost my voice completely over the weekend because I haven't seen anybody in that long. And then when I was graced with company, I'm like talking that absolute face
Yeah,
off them.
right.
So I'm just starting to get my voice back, and I still can't sing.
Oh, it sounded good. No, your voice is fine.
The fucking what it was that showed exactly the effects of Buckfast.
Oh, fuck
You know what I mean?
You're not the first person to say that to me.
It's like I got introduced to it. I didn't know about Buckfast, and then in about 1987, right, I moved to Stirling, and, and the neighbour said to me, "Here, do you want some tonic wine?" I'm thinking that sounds quite nice, you know,
Quite
like,
posh, quite
tonic wine.
quite civilised.
I was
A
kinda
tonic
like-
wine.
I'm like, darling, tonic wine, you know, give us a go at that. And about 12 fucking minutes later, I'm in the next pub going, trying to write a check. Just like, you
You're
fucking.
I have all my money.
And the dangerousest bit about Buckfast is this, right? Fucking the caffeine aspect. Right.
Well, you can't have any stimulants anymore.
Yeah, have you noticed? This is
Why?
gonna...
What? I can't believe that you're drinking dragon soup as well as Buckfast. That's mental, man.
A bottle and a half of Buckfast, and I'm on the dragon soup.
You're still quite young, though. You're still quite young, so you get away with it, I suppose. But it's like I've noticed
You
even
must have a
see if I get
heart muscles.
even getting the coffee dose wrong for me these days.
I keep snoring, but like bad. Like I've got into the mannerisms of it now, and I can't stop.
You know
Mark
what?
McInnes
Well, you
says,
know what?
Captain,
If
when are you
you
thinking
laugh
up to
so
coming
much-
up to Scotland? Sorry, what are you saying, Captain? First of all,
If you laugh so much that you snort, that's the best thing ever.
Yeah, man, I'm happy.
That's a fucking genuine laugh. That's like some people almost fake laughing and smiling, but if you laugh so much that you make yourself snort down the back of your nose, or even a bit of snot goes on your nana's dog or something, you know you've actually had a funny moment then.
It is what it is.
I accidentally projectile vomited towards this woman who was walking a dog. It really went on the dog. And I felt bad, but at the same time, I thought that is amazing. You know, I had a vomit, which was at the same time horrifying, but like, like I once saw a guy vomit out of a taxi window into the open window of a police car. Fucking projectile vomited over a copper, and I'm sat next to him going, well, "This is going to go well." You know what I mean? I'm like, "Oh, this is going to be a quiet evening then." But Buckfast, right? When I first got shown Buckfast, you can lose. You don't even know what's happened. I've had people saying to me like, "What the fuck were you doing last night in my pub?" And I'm like, "I didn't go out." And they're like, "You were in my pub. You were crawling on all fours with a girl sat on your back, and you were shouting, 'I'm a horsey, I'm a horsey.'" And I'm like, "Was I?" And then I realized, do you know what I used to like doing? Mixing Buckfast with Valium or tomato. So that you don't even know what's going on. You're in the chip shop. You're in the chip shop, but you might as well be on fucking Star Trek. You like that? Beam me up a fish supper, you cunt.
I can't date, Captain. I don't have that power.
Yeah. I can't hold it.
Just can't do it, Captain.
Yeah.
Captain Hotknives. Last night, Captain Hotknives. Last night I spoke to you on the phone, and you told me the story of how you met Eddie Izzard. Do you want to do a song about that?
Yeah.
I challenge you to write a song about that.
No bother. Do you know what the C is? If somebody gives me an idea,
Well, it was your idea. I just thought it was quite a funny story.
If in a gig somebody shouts out, "Write a song about an epileptic looking seagull," I will.
Well, let's put that out to the crowd as well. If anyone wants to hear a song from Captain Hotknives, you decide what the subject matter is.
All right, I tell you what I will do to be
Write a
pop.
song about Brian the sausage. Brian the Sausage must have a song. If
Brian the
David
Sausage.
Attenborough was
We'll get back to Brian the Sausage. We're focusing on Ed Izzard. Based on a true story, the time that Captain Hotknives met Eddie Izzard, and he told me the story last night, and I just thought it was funny. I just thought it was funny that Captain Hotknives met Eddie Izzard. Sorry, Rebecca, I didn't hear what you said there.
No.
I was hungover on the London train. I was hungover, dehydrated my brain. I needed food, so I went to the bit where they sold the food, but the food all looked shit. The girl behind the counter, she did surprise me. She said, "Is your name Captain Hotknives?" I thought, how the fuck has she heard of me? And she said that her mum went to beat her every year, and she loved Captain Hotknives and gave me free stuff. I got free stuff on the train. I got free stuff on the train. Because the woman's mum knew my songs. But then in the queue behind me, who did I see in the queue behind me? It was Eddie Izzard, he's on TV. He had nail polish on his only little fella. It seemed quite nice, so I said, "Do you want some Captain Hotknife CDs?" And he looked a bit uncomfortable, cause I'm very large. I've got involuntary movements and a smell of cannabis and special brew. I was stinking after sleeping on a bender in Leeds the night before. But to pay him respect, he's a nice fella. He took the CDs and he went back to his seat. I like to think that when he got home, he listened to at least Shabby Muffin. That's the first track on the first CD. But I'll never know. But if I ever do see Eddie Izzard, I'll buy him a pint. Fair fucks to Eddie Izzard. Fair fucks to the man. He's fucking funny. When he first came out, fucking loved that shit. Anyway, it's inspired this next bit of the riff. Eddie Izzard. That's the end. did, man.
Call that radio.
Call that radio.
What back to the people who hated on me?
Right, and then I see the disinfectant that knocks it out in a minute.
That's mad, isn't it?
Is this a Netflix thing?
It's actually a podcast.
What the fuck's a podcast?
You know, it's kind of like a radio show.
Oh, that radio.
Yeah.
And is there a way we can do something like that?
I couldn't help it.
By injection inside or
Yeah, I think so because I think just paint in general because I think like my poem is in my painting.
No, cut. As you call that radio TV, we're live with Captain Hotknives. Before we've got Rebecca Radical's going to do a spoken word piece next, and we've got, I think, who's probably going to be our final guest of the night, warming up in the green room area. We've got. I wanted to show this meme. You know, we were talking about Bob the Amazing Sheepdog.
Yeah.
I was wondering how you rate this meme. This is the new part of the show called Captain Hotknives Rates the Meme.
Meme rating.
Spurs joining the Super League is like me walking into the Crucible and putting 50 pence on the table.
All right. I get it. If you're a football fan, that would make sense to you. Because I didn't really grow up with football. I've had a jumper for ages, and I had it for that long until somebody told me it was Glasgow Celtic.
You've got the big Celtic jumper. We should. You need to watch the last Captain Hotknives open mic night if you want to see the glory of the Celtic jumper. You had the big Celtic. Have you got get the jumper?
Where is it? I have got one.
Obviously, if you were tuned in earlier on, you'll be aware that Captain Hotknives has an involuntary tick, which obviously Celtic are known as the tick. I don't know if you're aware of that, man.
What's that?
The tick. Celtic are called the tick sometimes.
Are they?
So I don't know if you can maybe work with that.
That's kind of ironic. Do you know, because I don't follow any football teams at all, and if I was going to do... It
feels like Jamesy's made you a Celtic fan.
No. It's long before Jamesy that I even met Jamesy, because what draws me to the idea of Glasgow Celtic is they do things like they support Palestine. Are you with me?
Yeah.
And I'm in Bradford, and I'm thinking these guys are sound. You know, It's like not many football fans do any politics, but Celtic are doing like sort of socialist, left-wing kind of Irish.
Let's see the jumper. And
then
Rebecca Radical's got a poem for us.
What it is, sorry to be a fat old cunt. Sorry.
Get a fucking jumper on, mate.
Taps half weather. It's taps half weather tonight on You Call That Radio TV.
Sorry, wait on. I've had loads of mushies. I don't know what I'm doing. Right.
Jumpers? What's the point of clothes?
Look, you know those punk rock jumpers, like proper punk.
And the mohair ones.
Yeah. Well, my mate Carmel makes them.
Really comfy. Aye.
But look at this, right?
It's a
mohair punk jumper. It just happens to be green and white. I get you.
You weren't accidentally wearing that in Belfast when you were telling your story earlier on about your.
No. What I had on in Belfast when I was really high and my brain started wanting me to do Republican ticks. I had on an inside out Harrington, so it's tartan. So I had a tartan jacket. I was stinking of fucking marijuana. And my mouth was trying to make me get killed. It's done it in other places as well, in other ways. But yeah, I'm sorry if I'm shit on these things, but look, this is the jump.
It's good. No, you've got a good angle. Petra's in the house.
No.
And obviously, Captain Hotknives is aware of Petra. She was on the last Captain Hotknives open mic night. and I went to my bed, and they had an after party till 10 a.m. in the backstage area of the show, which
We
lasted
did. We
for me
chewed
for
the
about
fat. I think they say we chewed the
what?
fat. We chewed the fat. Yeah, we did.
There was no fat left.
No, it was all bone.
Rebecca's
all
got
bone, baby.
Well, Petra, we're going to bring you on a little second. I believe you've got a song for us. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm going to do a cover song.
Yes, amazing. The copyright robots will absolutely love that. Rebecca, I believe you've got a bit of spoken word poetry first, so please take it away.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a spoken word song that I'm releasing in a couple of days. The guy that made the beat is called Rich Gulag, from down south, and it's a fucking banger. Picture this: you've just played a really good gig, and you're more than slightly pissed, absolutely chapping at the bit for a sesh result. You've been invited to an afters. Techno is thumping, bodies are bouncing, you have got to love a dancing, the walls of council housing. Guy in the corner says, can hack the bass, don't know if it means music or that. Tasty paste, you think for the answer. Something from his face, it's intense fake. And I live for these days, there's people cutting shapes, forgetting people's names all good, can know the feel living this place. Someone's spouting off about the means of production. How someone rolls a split with the caramel infusion. Hippie cunt, you can't help but love. Did you hear that bass, mate? Fuck, that's the stuff. Here, can you roll this because I can't see? No bother, pal. I have been to myself, you see. Talking about him when we get one mind. Yeah, we're pushing to alcohol instead of psychedelic finds. I agree and laugh nervously as I take a big swig from a bottle of Bucky. The party starts to shit the boot. He's been with his pal Mandy, so he hears cheese into boot. Talking about his first love and asking random cunts for hugs. I'm sure he's harmless, but I think I'll keep my distance. I just want to dance, mate. Get out your brain a minute. I just want to dance, mate. Get out your brain a minute. Tunnels thumping in council housing. The people up dancing, yeah, they're macking the folk. I have one dance move unless I'm killed and who knows. Sleep to the baseline, yeah, I've got to love a mad and my thoughts are interrupted by a voice I carpets like Aladdin's. Aladdin's? What? Nah, really, man, have you not seen Aladdin? Fuck off. The rumour ups, mate, you are out your pus, they want some water. Folk make a fuss, and that guy's having the time of his life. Got control of one eye, it's no surprise, it happens sometimes. Mandy turned me into a pirate once or twice. But those are the best nights. Yes, they are.
Your call is very important to
Rebecca, radical. That was amazing. Well done.
I can't believe I remembered all the words there.
My Pet Rocky says, great, Rebecca.
I like
Becky
that.
Wallace says, yes plus. Yes plus one, I think that means.
Is that fruity time of night?
It's,
What it is, right?
You got the you on the apples.
What is it, Matt? Listen, this is important knowledge. Even if you started drinking and doing solvent abuse as a small child,
Can't keep up eventually. You need to throw your body a vegetable every now and again, right?
no, if you get past the age of 50 and you're still alive and you eat an apple and a banana, it cleanses your liver of all the toxins that have ever gone in it.
That's
I hope.
obviously this is
That's what I hope will happen.
this is Captain Hotknives, not Doctor Hotknives, so don't take any medical advice from this man.
Holistic. Captain Hotknives holistic.
But an apple and a banana's not going to do you any harm. Let's put it that way.
It depends where you put the banana.
We've got the loving the Ringu references on that link. Says Charlie. So is Charlie the guy who's going to be Charlie Blueglass? Is he going to be on the show next month?
Yeah, if he wants to be.
Charlie, if you want to be, you're more than welcome to join us next month because we're going to do this once a month because we're having a lot of fun doing this show. Rebecca, that tune that you just played there is brilliant.
Cheers,
It's Richie Gulag on the beat, who obviously we had on the show before. He was brilliant. So because we did Rebecca Radical's birthday party on You Call That Radio, and it was a great night. How can people hear this song in all its glory? And when?
It's out in a couple of days. I'll be releasing it on my Bandcamp. Just search Rebecca Radical. I'll be releasing it on the 23rd.
The 23rd?
Yeah.
Friday. Give me a shout, Rebecca, as well about doing the review.
I've made a music video and everything. I went full tilt, so everything's out on the 23rd.
Remind me to review it. I'll do it next week because I'm not doing any reviews this week because I've not got any time. Petra's pointing at me as if she's got something to say. And so Captain Hotknives pointing a banana skin. Sorry, I'll go with Petra first. Petra.
What you saying, Mark?
Well, I don't know. Were you pointing to me as if you had a point to make?
I was pointing to his banana skin, babe.
All right, okay. I thought you were like, hold on, wait a minute. I've got something to say.
No, that's when I do that. That's when I do that.
All right, okay. So we're all. So we'll
Mark.
Yes.
What would be literally the most dangerous thing for me to do with this? Because I'm just about to do it.
Well, yeah, throw it there. You want it to land just before the toilet door. So, because you know what these shows are like, it's very hard to find the time to have a pee without seeming ignorant.
Yeah, that's true.
So why don't we do a song about that? Also, Charlie Blueglass is up for it. Nice one, Charlie. We'll see you next month. We've not got a date. It'll be around about this time next May. Next month, not next May. This May. So we're going to do a song about Rebecca. Have you got? You said Brian the Sausage, or whoever's with you said Brian the Sausage.
Okay.
I can definitely play another tune.
Brian the Sausage.
We're going to go. It's Captain's turn, and then we're going to have Petra. Then it's Rebecca again. We're going to go round like that, and we're going to finish fairly soon. We're not going to be going on all night. I don't think we're going to wrap up quite soon. So we're going to do a song about Brian the Sausage. And the banana slipping on a banana skin. Petra, would you like to add anything into this song that he's got to make up?
I would just like to say, be very careful. Be very careful.
Be very careful.
Well, never be careful.
He's not going to be careful. We know he's not going to be careful. It's Captain Hotknives. He's been asked to do a song about Brian the Sausage slipping on a banana skin, and he's to try and be very careful.
All right. That seems straightforward enough, Mark. Brian the Sausage slips on banana skin,
but
he should have been really careful. But he wasn't.
Yeah, well, that's up to your imagination.
You need to think of a riff to put it to. There once was a sausage called Brian. He had two cousins, both called Ryan. As sausages, they were mainly pork, but they could not play computer games or talk. One day he fell out of the fridge, cause the person had had too much beverage. Dropped poor Brian on the floor. Pay millions to lunch and straight onto a banana skin. Don't drop greasy sausages on banana skins. Put both things straight into the bin. It's not health and safety to do that. Don't drop Brian the sausage on a banana skin, you swat. Don't drop Brian the sausage on a banana skin, you swat. Jesus. That's the end of that one, Mark. I reckon Mark's gone to the shop now.
No, I had to. Sorry, man.
Right.
I'm here.
That is disgraceful.
I tried my best to get those subjects into it.
We've got, Charlie's saying, nice one, let's keep in touch about the date. We will do, man. We'll figure that out we'll figure that out this week. Banana, Apple, make their Doom song. And he's from Iceland. Okay, we'll maybe get back to that. We've got, does the captain remember Barbie Ben from the road protest days? I think Ben said he was one of the guys trying to buy tickets to Sydney, Australia in his Glue song, but I might have got that wrong. Can you confirm or deny this claim, this spurious claim? He was the guy in the Glue song.
No, the guy that was trying to buy tickets to Sydney, Australia, which happened in Glasgow. Do you know the story of that bit of the song?
Yeah.
Should I do the story of it for the? Does anybody else?
Well, we'll tell you what, we'll do that. Why don't you do the Glue song after this?
I'll tell you what,
Petra's going to give us a song. Petra's going to give us a song,
yeah.
and we've got one more for Rebecca, and maybe we could finish on Glue. Because remember, finish on Glue. Because we are at 10:05, Captain. We had a big conversation last night about how for both of us we needed to be finished by 9 because we're up early tomorrow, and we're already at 10:05. So we'll go for a song from Petra. Take it away, Petra.
Right. So you mentioned Prince earlier, so I'm going to do a Prince song. Is that? Tell me if that's too loud or anything, Mark.
Just now play a bit of guitar.
It's a Prince song.
Play a bit of guitar at the same time. Just do a wee quick sound check here.
All right. How's that?
Sounds great. Sounds great.
So,
take it away.
It was covered by Cyndi Lauper, but Prince wrote it, and you mentioned him earlier. When you were mine, I gave you all of my money, time after time. You did me wrong, just like a train. You let all my friends come over and drink. You were so strange. You didn't have the decency to change the sheets. I know that you're going with another girl. I don't care, 'cause I love you, baby, that's no lie. I love you more than I did when you were mine. When you were mine, you were always kind of sort of my best friend. So I was blind, I let you fool around. I didn't care, I never was the kind to make a fuss when she was there, sleeping in between the two of us. I know that you're going with another girl. I don't care, 'cause I love you, baby, that's no lie. I love you more than I did when you were mine. When you were mine, you were all I ever wanted to do. You were so fine. Now I follow her when she's with you. I know that you're going with another girl. don't care. 'Cause I love you, baby, that's no lie. I love you more than I did when you were mine. I love you more than I did when you were mine.
Yeah, no respect in every aspect to the man like Mark. I love what the man I talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio, radio. Call that the radio, radio. You call that radio, radio. Call that the radio, radio. Come and say, eeny, meeny, my name, oh, just go with the flow. Eeny, meeny, my name, oh, just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Boom. Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio, radio. You call that radio, radio. Come and say, don't you be another man, I'll go lose your head. Say, don't you be another me, say, and lose the head. I me say, radio, radio. Call that a radio, radio. Straight from out of Glasgow, Glasgow. Straight from out of Glasgow, Glasgow. Nice enough on the studio, studio. Come and say, eeny, meeny, my name, oh, just go with the flow. Eeny, meeny, my name, oh, just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. No radio, radio. You call that the radio, radio. Them man I give you miss a lot of subject. And them a thing a man you can't object. So don't you ever come and disrespect. I love and respect in a every aspect.
If you call that Radio TV, we are live for the Captain Hotknives open mic night. Petra just absolutely smashed that. I was just thinking that song, do you notice how you're slowly hearing a little bit more of that riff, that intro, that music that we've got? Captain Petra, Rebecca are with us. What I think we're going to do is it's actually a 5.5 minute song, and like all the intros and what would you call it, jingles that we have are all usually about 4 minutes long, and no one's actually heard the full songs. So what I think we're going to do this month is everyone who's a patron is going to get a free album called Now That's What I Call You Call That Radio, and it's going to be like 7 songs of jingles, and you're used to hearing 30-second snippets. These are actual full songs that people made, and if I was them, I'd be pissed off at me for not just playing the full song. You spend all that time making a 5-minute song and then we only use 30 seconds. So if you want to get that album, then you can sign up to the Patreon at patreon.com/you call that radio. We do raffles, we do giveaways, and as much bonus content as we can.
Is Amelia, Mark,
what?
Is Amelia Baylor's jingle a full song?
Maybe. You need to be a patron to find out.
Am I not a Patreon anymore? Oh yes,
I cancelled.
I'm an on and off again.
I think what you did was strange, Petra. You actually were one of the people that paid for the year.
Yeah.
But then cancelled a month after it, even though you've missed out.
Oh really? Did I? Oh, it was all to do with PayPal and.
But you were actually paid up for the year. It's like buying a season ticket and ripping it up. It's like you didn't like the manager. That's what happens in football.
But you still got paid.
I get my cut of the cake.
Am I not in the raffle? No wonder I'm not
getting a raffle. You're not in the raffle anymore.
Oh.
No, I will try and remember to put you in the raffle, but it's difficult as it is to try and do digital raffles. It's controversial and complicated enough without me having to remember, oh, that's Petra. She paid for the year, but then she cancelled a month later, ripped up her fucking season book because she did enough of the manager, and I better put her in the raffle. But I don't know what. Yeah, you can pay annually or you can pay monthly. A couple of pounds, the price of a pint or the price of coffee. If you can do it monthly or annually,
I'll get on it again. Speaking of money, Mark.
Oh God,
and
what have I done?
Cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
Crypto.
Yeah.
You need to get a trust wallet.
Yeah.
And you need to buy some SafeMoon and some Elongate.
So this is you now, the expert, after watching my show a month ago. You've studied it and now you're the expert of cryptocurrency. Okay, well, I'm into it. It's just I don't have enough money to actually. I don't have spare money to invest. But I'm all for the
A tenner would be good, but you need to get someone who knows how to
I'm
do it
waiting until I've
for
got
you.
100 quid. I'm waiting until I've got 100 quid, and then I'm going to go for it. Because I was convinced when we had the guy on, Grant, who's amazing. He explains it in a simple way. I think that we should be getting on the Bitcoin train or whatever, or the alternatives.
You want
but
Safe Moon and Elongate. And you get it on a trust wallet, and you have to do it via Pancake Swap. It's quite complicated. You need to get someone to help you.
Disclaimer, can I just make a disclaimer? Just like I said earlier on, the captain's not a doctor. It's not Dr. Hotknives. She can't give you medical advice. Petra is not a financial advisor. She cannot give you financial advice. Do it at your own risk. You call that Radio TV accepts no responsibility for anyone losing all their savings. I don't think anyone that watches this has any savings, but just in case, you know what I mean?
You won't need much.
Just in case somebody's got like 10 quid stashed.
Just in case. A fiver, a wee fiver rabbit.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Okay, Captain is about to play something. We've actually got a special guest who's about to join us as well. Cool. Captain, did you have a thing you were going to do there? Did you feel inspired by cryptocurrency?
Yeah, I was going to do a cryptocurrency tune.
Okay, do a cryptocurrency tune. Then we're going to get Rebecca, and then we've got a final special guest of the evening who's going to do something
really short.
Very small and digital.
Yeah. I woke up on Wednesday, I was proper skin. I thought I should have invested in cryptocurrency. Which one should I choose? There's so fucking many. Which one should I use? Should I use Iggy Pop Euros? Should I invest in Elon Musk? Is he even someone you could trust? I have difficulty spelling. Accidentally, I've invested in £1,000 worth of cryptocurrency. I've wasted £1,000 on cryptocurrency due to one letter being wrong. There's shite on my foot. I've got crap on my toe. I should have kept my browser shut. There you go.
That's fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Keep my browser shut.
See, that's the thing. It's invisible money. It's like a thing that doesn't exist that everyone's going for. But people are going for it.
Cryptocurrency.
Brilliant.
Cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency. It's like based on the amount of shite on the front of your train.
But you've just actually, man, we're going to have a show. Honestly, we'll maybe bring Grant on at the next Captain Hotknives show to explain its NFTs. I think they're called.
Yes, NFTs.
Digital
art.
Yes, I don't know if you've seen the one with Hugh Reid. We had Hugh Reid on the show a couple of weeks ago, and we had Grant on explaining to me and Hugh Reid, but it was pub quiz night, so we deleted it from the internet forever because we can't have that online. But it was really interesting. So we're going to do a normal version of that show soon. Rebecca, Radical, I believe you have a song for us. One more tune.
A wee KRS-One cover.
That'd be brilliant. Take it away.
It's been a while since I played this all the way through, so hopefully I can do it. Okay. I was on my way up here to the studio and a guy bumped into me and he said, "Yo, Chris, or is it that you say music, you know this rap music, especially for so long?" I said, "Well, years ago I made to do with the goddess." He said, "The goddess?" I said, "Well, yeah, she might know as God, but known as a goddess, the universal mother of everything you see in existence." And I asked her for a persistence and lyrical persistence, and she gave it to me, but under one condition. She said, I'll give you the gift, but you suggest to uplift. She said, I'll give you the gift, but you suggest to uplift. I'm not gonna need nothing else but help. Well, to knowledge of myself. I'm not gonna need nothing else but help. Well, to knowledge of myself. And I began in towards the words with me flesh. Knowledge here and God. Supreme man, so talk about grace for the other of us. I'm trying to teach you the word that I'm out of bed. I get to teach us, thank you for my past, and better teach us, we need to know. Well, they tell me you better be the one down, you can see that the best people get to be the I want to be the partner. Start your career, we'll choose another one. You don't mind what you do, let's do. Be sure you got no good, nothing good. It's like some mind of all the shit, some good, that's all, some benefit to you. Let's dream every contradictory or funny by decision how but the wisdom get money like this is like music. See money everywhere, I thought you would have been such a many of these sexy so that I can see it free starting up the top the rest of me. Screen feature lesson number 5 that I'm losing. Had some ticket, the minute couple records if you cruising, then I feel so down. Still now show a seven it's a rule from the outside and I know how long you rhyme, what you can rhyme and see what the times I'm finding yourself, fine and full. Both my bullshit's going, all shooting, that's the way. I'm not gonna be nothing else for help, well, the knowledge of myself. I'm not gonna be nothing else for help, well, the knowledge of myself.
You call that radio, radio, radio. More like a TV show, TV show, TV show. On almost every night, every night, every night. It's gonna be streaming live, streaming live, streaming live. You call that radio, radio, radio. More like a TV show, TV show, TV show. On almost every night, every night, every night. It's gonna be streaming live, streaming live, streaming live. You call that
And that's one of the songs that will be on now. That's what I call, you call that radio if you sign up to the Patreon. That
was great, Rebecca.
Rebecca,
I love
absolutely
your
smashed that.
I'm getting the words out. I know, keep going, keep going.
I love your punk ethos.
Thank you.
Absolutely, Rebecca, radical, smashing it. Rebecca, how can people keep up to date with all the things you're doing from the, you know, you've got your acoustic style stuff, you've got band stuff, you've got like I'm loving this new kind of electro spoken word crossover. You've got your poetry stuff.
I feel like
all your fashion stuff. Is there just one place where all this happens?
Just add me on Facebook, like Rebecca Eves. But if you search Rebecca Radical, you get me on YouTube, Bandcamp, all those kind of things.
Rebecca Radical.
On Facebook, like exactly.
Well, do you know, I think Petra might have another song. I know that Captain Hotknives is definitely going to have one more song. I think we're going to finish in the song, the pop hit Glue. But before that, Petra, we've got one final guest on who's joining us. I believe it's the last new guest of the evening. Let's just do a... we haven't done the Royal Rumble countdown tonight, so let's just do that. It's Oliver Pissed. Oliver Pissed is in the house. How you doing, man? Could you just try and say something, man? A 1 2, a 1 2.
Aye, not bad, not bad. How's it going?
Okay, do you? In fact, it doesn't really matter if you're doing a piece but Yeah, what you do is do the poem first.
1, 2, 1, 2. Can you hear me?
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay, but it's okay, man. Just do a poem and then we'll chat. Yeah, just do a poem and then we'll get the crack.
Right, cool. First time anyone's getting to hear this one. It's written about my granddad who passed away quite recently, so I'm just going to rattle through it, alright? Here we go. It's called DNR. I've lived life to the full, my family's my wealth. I may be in my 90s, but I'm a picture of health. I called my loved ones and they explained why. This lockdown's so strict, but we all must comply. I've been worrying recently, I've seen all the news. The whole pandemic thing has got me confused. I called my family to ask them all why. All the rules I grew up with no longer apply. I've been unable to see them since this all began. I miss watching my grandson grow into a man. I called him today to let him know why. He needn't worry for me. I'm not saying goodbye. I'm feeling worse every day. I'm getting depressed. All this anxiety and fear is making me stressed. I'd call to complain, but you'd probably just sigh. I don't want to cause fuss. I'm just not that guy. I've been isolated so long, but it's for my safety. I've been lonely since my wife died when I was 80. I called my daughter and she explained why. She's busy with work, so she can't always reply. I've developed a pain, I'm not sure where I am. I've blacked out again, I don't want to alarm. I'd call out in vain, but who'd hear my cry? I'm unable to move, I think something's awry. I dialed 999 emergency, eventually got through. Won't be long now, sir, I'm sending help out to you. I call out in pain and left wondering why an ambulance would be in such short supply. I'm sprawled on the floor, how did I end up here? After surviving a year of non-stop misery and fear, I call out in your name as I stare to the sky. My life starts to flash before my mind's eye. I've played a lifetime of service, I've paid all my dues. This pain's got me nervous, I've nothing to lose. I call out in disdain, I'm just wondering why. I paid for your service, but your help I can't buy. I've clapped like a seal every Thursday night, but now my vision reveals only colours and light. I call back again, I'm still wondering why our NHS heroes now won't even try. I'm delirious with pain, I feel the end may be nigh, but I'm not ready to meet the big man in the sky. I call this profane, totally unjustified. My government's decided it's time that I die. I think it's already too late, the pangs intensify. I'm awaiting my fate without a tear left to cry. I call this insane, can't see any reason why. We're all in this together, but I'm left here to die. Thanks.
You call that radio? You call that radio TV? No. You call that radio TV?
This is You Call That Radio.
This is You Call That Radio TV. That jingle you just heard will be on. Now that's what I call You Call That Radio. We just heard a passionate poem from Oliver Pist. Very different from your normal stuff. There's a bit of a delay, man. Do you have any earphones, Oliver? Do you have earphones? Because like there's just too much of a delay to have a conversation.
I can't hear.
Plug in, man, because yeah, man. It's just with earphones will fix that.
Are you
but yeah,
Oliver?
man,
Oliver, are you listening on YouTube? You need to be on StreamYard.
Yeah, that's true. That could be it. So unmute your mic. You need to unmute your mic, Oliver, and then I think you should be able to join the conversation. Your mic's muted. If you unmute the mic, that should work fine. Captain Hotknives, I think you've got a song for us. Yeah, you need to unmute your mic, Oliver. On StreamYard, there's a little button where you can tick off. We'll try and come back to Oliver Pist and talk a bit more about his poetry. Captain Hotknives seems to have an idea, so I've learned to just let him go with it.
That's what they eventually learned in the secure unit. It took a lot of manpower to stop me just going with it. We couldn't. So this one, I don't want to sing the Glue song because it's very loud and it's a bit late and it's a weeknight in it for my neighbours. But I could explain that bit of the Glue song that you were on about. But I forgot.
Oh, no. If this is the finale, then we're going to have one from Petra. Petra first, and then we're going to end with the Glue.
This is just a wee one. I'm going to do a mellow version of this one for the captain. It's from 1978, the Little Punk Rock Sessions, Teenage Kicks. I'm going to make it really short. Oh, microphone. Hello. A teenage dream so hard to beat. Every time she walked down the street, another girl in the neighborhood, where she was mine, she looked so good. I wanna hold her tight and get teenage kicks right through the night. I'm gonna call her on the telephone, have her over 'cause I'm all alone. I need excitement, oh I need it bad, and she's the best I ever had. I wanna hold her tight and get teenage kicks right through the night. Alright. A teenage dream so hard to beat. Every time she walked down the street, another girl in the neighborhood, where she was mine, she looked so good. I wanna hold her tight and get teenage kicks right through the night. Alright. Boom.
Brothers and sisters, may the peace that can only come from the one God be upon you. We are here to tell the people that we hear you. One God will not allow us as people of conscience to lose our morale.
Powered by our patrons. Another song that may appear on Now That's What You Call That Radio. I've went blurry.
Disappeared, mate.
I've disappeared a bit, haven't I? But yeah, I'm just going to read out some comments anyway. It's good one tonight, yeah, pie, says Aljo Tartan 32. Carrie was saying earlier on, mate, sorry for your loss, it's been an arse over a year, beautifully expressed, Oliver, well done, Oliver, pissed. I think we've lost him though, I think he's gone. Powerful stuff, Oliver says as well. Cheers, Mark. Petra sounding great, says Mark. Mark's also saying he's never won feck all in the raffle, but next year is my time. And, it will be, man. Next year is your year. I think next year is all our years. And I appreciate you still supporting the Patreon even if you don't win a raffle. Because sometimes I make a post on Patreon saying to people, this is what everybody won this month, as if to say, like, you know, stay a Patreon because there's lots of prizes to be won. But I think it does the opposite. It makes people want to delete their Patreon because like, I didn't win again. So maybe I'll just keep my mouth shut. I don't know. We've got loads of comments coming in. It's been a great show. Thank you, Rebecca Radical. Thank you, Petra. It was a brilliant cover. Backstory to buy tickets to Sydney, Australia and RBS Bank, says Ishka. So this is still talking about the Glue song?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we're going to end tonight with the story of the Glue song followed by the Glue song. And we'll be back. And if you've enjoyed tonight, we'll be back tomorrow night for You Call That Politics, which is a slightly different format than tonight's show. You can see that tomorrow. Great lineup, no party politics, just going to be talking about ideas. Tuesday we've got Stanley Odd. Wednesday we've got the Secret Animal Garden Party. Thursday You Call That Politics again. And then we've got the big immersive TV gig, which is I'm excited and terrified for. It's Jackal Trade's comeback gig after 3 years in the wilderness. Full band, new songs that we've not learned yet. The Girl Cried Wolf, Dope Sick Fly, Loki, Becky Wallace, Steg G, Freestyle Master, Solar Eye, Empress, and CCTV. £8, all the money goes to Sonny Govan and Ref Luigi. £10 if you want to sit in the Zoom wall so I can actually see yous. I don't know, Petra, would you do that? Would you join the Zoom call?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Love to.
Yeah, do it. It would be good to see some friendly faces in the audience, because to me it's like a kind of, the idea of it sounds like a kind of like a Adam Curtis, Charlie Brooker sketch. You know, it sounds like a nightmare. You know, people on a screen like kind of interacting. But I'm also had to say yes, because I'm hoping that gigs will come back very soon, and then we'll just laugh at the anecdote. Remember that time I did a gig looking at a wall of Zoom calls? So hopefully that's the case. And if you want to do it, it's a £10 for the interactive ticket or £8 for the normal ticket. Lou says it's a raffle, so completely random unless you're a Windy Bank. Martin Windy Bank won all the raffles last time and he was the cameraman. So it caused a lot of conspiracy theories on Reddit and Twitter. Why do folk moan that they contribute but never win? I don't think folk moan. I think folk just delete their Patreon sometimes. But they don't. They very rarely moan. I think Mark wasn't moaning. He was just having a bit of a laugh. He's a great supporter. Thank you to everyone who supports the Patreon. Like, really, honestly, this last year would have been absolutely fucked without you guys. So thank you very much for all your help. Thank you to Petra. Thank you to Rebecca Radical. Thank you to all our amazing guests tonight. We're going to play tonight out with the story of Glue, followed by the song Glue by Captain Hotknives.
One Glue.
Okay. Well, the bit that guy's asking about, he was asking if I knew this guy called Barbie Ben from the road, which I'll probably do. But the guy in the song Glue that was trying to buy tickets to Sydney, Australia, he was called Tony, and he was from Sydney, Australia, right? And we'd all took an acid, and it was the first time we'd ever had it the night before. And then through no reason anyone could ascertain, we ended up in Glasgow first thing in the morning the next day. We were still tripping and we wanted to trip a bit more. We went into this massive department store to get some scissors to cut these tabs in half. Just wandered around this massive shop tripping balls, like trying to buy scissors. 3 geezers. There was a Scottish guy, Chris. There was me, and there's Tony, this Australian guy. And we were tripping that hard, and we went into one of these all-day cinemas in Socky Hall Street, though, somewhere near there. And old guys used to sit in there with a bottle of booze and that, and like, you know, there's pictures, and it was warm and that. And we all sat down, and I was looking down at my chair, and my body had totally disappeared. I could sort of see through my own body to this chair in this cinema in Glasgow, and I'm thinking, this is a bit much. So I said to Tony and Chris, I feel like I've gone invisible. And then Tony says to Chris, I thought I heard Chris, but I can't see him. And I'm like, no, Tony thinks I'm invisible as well. So I had to go to the toilets to look in the mirror to see if I was invisible. I was that fucked. But yeah, the guy is not the guy who was in the song. But yeah, that's the story of that bit. But I don't want to sing the song Glue, because it's a bit late and it's one of the loudest songs I've got. I want to sing it something more chilled, if that's okay with everybody. So I'm going to sing a song that I made up about. This was inspired by a story I got told on tour in Ireland about 2 years ago. I was in the van with the Hendy boys on the way to Crossmaglen, and they told me tales of smugglers bold and of the smugglers' men. Well, the army took the smuggler's truck and took it safe away behind big walls and steel gates in the army base that day. So then that night, a bold young lad said, I'm off to fetch the truck. And though they thought he could not succeed, they wished him best of luck. So the young lad took a smaller truck and pressed it to the gate. He inched it forward gradually and bent the steel plate. He crawled beneath the bent steel gate into the army base. He caught the truck that the army took and stole it from that place. From that place, from that place, from that place, my friend. From that place, from that place, from that place. So fare thee well, O smugglers bold, I hope you all stay free, bringing contraband from other lands that run in the army. So fare thee well, O smugglers bold, I hope you all stay free, bringing contraband from other lands that run in the army. Good night, everybody. Thanks for having me on the show, Mark. That's been really nice. Proper enjoyed that, and I've enjoyed all the other guests doing their things. Nice one, Mark.
Thank you very much, Captain Hotknives. Thank you very much, Petra. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Thank you to This Is the Kind of Neighbour You Need, says Mark McGuinness. And also, Mark, like I just replied to you there as well. I love the raffle controversy, so please continue to moan. It's always just when you do a raffle, I love the controversy, I love the drama. Cheers, folks. Oliver here says Clusterfuck Circus. Give them a little like or a subscribe on YouTube. That was Oliver that was on earlier on. Captain My Captain says Paul. And Ishka says nice one, cheers. Thank you to everyone who's tuned in tonight. Really appreciate it. We're back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock for You Call That Politics. Slightly different setup, but I hope you can join us for that. We've got Stanley Odd on Tuesday, the Secret Animal Garden Party on Wednesday, and on Thursday I think we should call that Politics again. Sorry, Petra, what were you going to say?
Is that the same apple, or am I tripping? Is that the fucking never-ending apple, or what?
I think there's only one apple you need to fix your liver.
I just made it last.
You take a half first. Take half an apple first, and then see how it kicks in. See how it kicks in. Safety first with Dr. Hotknives. Thank you, everyone. We'll have another Captain Hotknives open mic night in May. We'll figure out the date this week, and we'll keep you posted. Remember to hit the subscribe button on YouTube and support the Patreon if you can. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Thank you very much, Captain Hotknives. A pleasure as always, and we will see you tomorrow at 7 o'clock.
Yeah, no respecting every aspect of the man like Mark. I love what the man talk on the radio. In case you never know. You call that radio, call that the radio. You call that radio, call that the radio. Come and say, in my name, I'll just go with the flow. In my name, I'll just go with the flow. So till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Boom. Lot of mercy. Yo. You call that radio. You call that radio. Come and say, don't you be another man, I'll go lose your head. Say, don't you be another me, say, I'll lose the head. I me say, radio, call that a radio, straight from out of Glasgow, straight from out of Glasgow, nice enough for the studio. Come and say, in my name, I'll just go with the flow. In my name, I'll just go with the flow. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. Till you miss a mark, now go bend down low. No radio, you call that the radio. radio. Them man I give you miss a lot of subject, and them a thing a man you can't object. So don't you ever come and disrespect. I love and respect in a every aspect.